these protesters, with FIR now being registered across different pockets in central Delhi. This one has now been registered in Connaught Place Police Station.
Right, Ishita. In fact, this is an FIR, and I'm sure it is going to take some time regarding the fact that you said 70 odd people have now been kind of taken in by the police at this time. But yes, a lot of loss to the property has also taken place, and this is public property and this is public money. I also feel that, Ishita, these unidentified persons who came and created the chaos were also funded by people across the nation, and that's why they were able to kind of come to one place in such large numbers.
Yeah, of course, Nayan, at the moment questions are being raised about the kind of intentions that were in fact behind these actions, who were the political forces backing these protesters who were unleashing violence, creating unrest on the streets of Delhi, and also, was it planned? Because it did look like from the outset that this was not something that, erupted spontaneously on the spot. It looked like it was very much planned. There was planning in place to create unrest. So those are the questions that are still being investigated. And at the moment, I can assure you that as far as damage to properties is concerned, Delhi police have now released a statement mentioning that about 15 to 20 government vehicles were also damaged during the violent incident. So yes, extensive damage to public property also took place, and this is something that has been invoked in the FIR as well. FIR includes charges for assault to public officials, public servants essentially, and damage to public property as well as rioting. So these are the few charges which have been invoked as public officials were in fact injured, and we understand that at the moment the number stands 118. So 118 police officials were injured during this very incident. So based on that, the FIR are now being registered across, central Delhi police stations.
Right. Ishita, thank you so much in giving us your time and your inputs on the situation. But right now, we're shifting our focus to another story, viewers. Tensions has boiled over in the national capital on Monday as the CJP protests timed with the start of the monsoon session and turned into a violent clash, with also protesters resorting to stone pelting and property damage. Now, as per the reports, 118 Delhi police personnel were left injured after the mob breached the police barricades in the push towards the parliament. Now, police officials stated that they repeatedly urged the crowd to clear the area before intervening, but the atmosphere quickly turned hostile. This raises a major issue of the protest, which was spontaneous or angry or calculated effort to disrupt the parliament. More in this report. Take a look.
Stones hurled, barricades breached, security forces under attack in the heart of the national capital. A protest by CJP backers descended into chaos, with protesters clashing with police near the parliament. More than 50 police personnel were injured as stones rained down on security forces deployed to maintain order. Among those injured were police officers posted near Jantar Mantar. According to injured officers, several thousand protesters gathered at the site, overwhelming the security deployment and pelting stones from multiple directions.
लग रहा था कि ये स्टूडेंट है, मतलब इतनी उग्र होगी पुलिस टीम पे पथराव
एटीट्यूड से उनकी जो मोडस ऑपरेंडी थी, उससे ये नहीं कह सकते कि ये प्रोटेस्टर थे और ये स्टूडेंट थे। वो तो एक तरीके से उग्र प्रदर्शन था उनका, जबकि वहाँ से संसद मार्ग से प्रदर्शन खत्म हो चुका था। संसद मार्ग से प्रदर्शन खत्म हो चुका था और जनपद पर आकर के जो है वो प्रोटेस्टर जो बचे हुए थे वो इकट्ठे उन्होंने जो है उग्र प्रदर्शन करना शुरू कर दिया। कहाँ से पत्थर, या तो उनको कहीं से प्लांट था, उनका पहला प्रोग्राम हो, कहीं से पत्थर लेके आए, ईंट भी थी, पत्थर भी थे।
तो जिस जगह पे आप पोस्टेड थे वहाँ पे कितने आपके साथ टीम के और मेंबर्स थे?
टीम के मेंबर हमारे पास कम से कम भी 100 या 150 करीब थे।
सामने कितने थे?
सामने 1000 थे, 1000 से भी ज़्यादा होंगे। हाँ, ज़्यादा थे, वो तादाद इतनी है 1000-2000।
लड़की को तो सिर में काफ़ी चोट आई।
अच्छा, वो पुलिस टीम?
हाँ, पुलिस टीम की थी वो। उस लड़की को जो है ना सिर में पत्थर लगा के, और पत्थर लगने के बाद में वो बेचारी गिर गई, वो जो है ना उसको यहाँ उसका ट्रीटमेंट हुआ।
The violence erupted during a protest organized by the Cockroach Janata Party on the opening days of the monsoon session of the parliament.
Viewers, the fallout of the CJP protest is now being felt beyond the streets of the national capital as a direct impact to violence, Stone pelting, vandalism reported in parts of central Delhi. At least one school has shifted to online classes as precautionary measure. Here's a report. Take a look.
The impact of the ongoing CJP protest has now reached classrooms in the national capital. In a direct impact to the escalating situation, Delhi School has announced that classes on July 21st will be held online during the prevailing law and order situation. In an advisory to parents, the school said students should attend virtual classes as per the regular timetable. The move comes after violent protests disrupted parts of central Delhi. Several Delhi police vehicles were vandalized near Connaught Place, Janpath and Jantar Mantar during the demonstrations. Police said protesters resorted to stone pelting, forcing security personnel to intervene and restore order.
I have got a message from one of my sources who's saying that SKV school, who is in the Lutyens, Delhi, has informed the parents that tomorrow classes will be online because of the ongoing situations. The ongoing situation means the ongoing CJP protest.
Delhi police have detained several protesters and launched legal action in connection with the violence. Security has been intensified across key locations in central Delhi, with additional deployment to prevent any further escalation. Authorities continue to monitor the situation as schools and commuters remain affected by the disruption caused by the protesters.
Viewers, India has hardened its stand on the Indus Water Treaty, now making it clear that the agreement will remain in abeyance until and unless Pakistan addresses New Delhi's concern over the cross-border terrorism and agrees to renegotiate the terms of the 6-decade-old treaty. Governments also say that the existing framework no longer reflects the present-day realities and that no water sharing will take place under the current arrangement. In fact, India has also rejected Pakistan's move for arbitration while asserting that it will move ahead with the hydropower and also the infrastructure projects in Jammu and Kashmir. With the water cooperation now linked to the security concerns, the future of the Indus Water Treaty appears tied to a broader state of India-Pakistan relations. We have a report. Take a look.
India has made it very much clear, plain speak from India, that nothing changes. It is in abeyance and this redressal system will not be misused. We will not allow that.
Well, yes, Rakshita, we don't know whether those statements coming in from Pakistan have been any kind of trigger for this information coming in through our sources in the government. But what we have been told is that not just that Indus Water Treaty is in abeyance now, but that in its present form, it's buried and Pakistan has to live with it and deal with it. Now, the reason why this decision has been taken is that Pakistan has been abusing the disputes resolution process. And if you look at it, the preamble of the treaty in 1960 said that this treaty is based on friendship, goodwill, and mutual respect. Everything has been shred to pieces in terms of goodwill and friendship, and Pakistan continues to use terror as a state policy. And Pahalgam terror attack was the trigger for keeping the treaty in abeyance. But now we have, over the years, whatever time has passed, realized that the treaty itself is flawed, that as an upper riparian state, to be using only 20% of the waters and letting 80% go to Pakistan itself was, of course, large-heartedness on the part of India at that time, but was not in principle, not aligned with the principles of natural justice. So those have to be incorporated. Also, the 1960 treaty in terms of calculation and numbers was based on the technology of that time in terms of hydrographical data and everything else. Things have changed, technology has changed, dam construction techniques have changed. And also remember, the world itself has changed. We have something called climate change, and we have our own targets of climate change for which we need renewable energy. That's one. Also, climate change has change the hydrography of the Indus Basin in a manner that the rivers which are part of the Indus India share, they have reduced water flow, and the rivers that are with Pakistan, the western rivers, they have more share of water. So everything needs to be realigned, and that is the reason why sources tell us that the Indus Waters Treaty is not just in abeyance, it's effectively buried. And Pakistan, if they want, they have to stop terror, using terror as a state policy, and then come with clean hands, then maybe we can negotiate, but that window also is not there as of now.
Viewers, the numbers in the parliament are changing, and also so is the political roadmap of the NDA government. Now, ahead of the monsoon session, the ruling alliance is inching closer to the magic figure needed for constitutional amendment. Now, while the key reform bills are lined up for discussion this session, the bigger political conversation is whether the NDA could soon have the numbers to push through the landmark proposal like the delimitation, the one nation, one election. Here's a look at the arithmetic behind the politics. Take a look.
The monsoon session begins with the NDA entering Parliament in a stronger position than before, both politically and numerically. The government has listed 7 major legislations for discussion, including the FCRA bill. But beyond these ordinary legislations, the real political focus remains on constitutional amendments, where the NDA is steadily moving closer to the required numbers. In the Lok Sabha, the NDA currently has 319 MPs, leaving it 42 short of the two-thirds majority needed for constitutional changes. In the Rajya Sabha, the alliance stands at 150. However, political realignment have significantly strengthened the NDA's effective position. Trinamool rebels, Shiv Sena realignment, and fresh Rajya Sabha entries have shifted the parliamentary equation in the government's favour. According to the latest political calculations, the NDA's effective strength in the Lok Sabha has climbed to around 354, putting it just 6 seats away from the 360 mark required for a constitutional supermajority. The next piece of the puzzle lies with the fence-sitters. The DMK, with 22 MPs, along with the AAP, JMM, independents and smaller parties, could determine whether the government crosses the final hurdle. Even issue-based support from these parties without formally joining the NDA could prove sufficient for specific constitutional amendments if voting patterns favour the government. In an exclusive response to Republic, NCP SP, Jatinder Awad said that the door opened for issue-based support to NDA.
And sir, one speculation is going on that NCP SP may extend support to NDA based on issues.
See, basically try to understand one thing. When we are supporting something which is constitutionally correct, I don't think there should be any speculation. I am not here to answer speculations. I am here to answer the facts.
Political observers believe that the monsoon session will primarily test the government's legislative momentum, while the winter session could become far more significant if the numbers continue to move in the NDA's favour. In the monsoon session of the Parliament, the battle is no longer only over legislation, it is also over arithmetic, because in the race for constitutional reform, every number counts.
Viewers, we'll move on to our next segment where we tell you everything that's happening in the world with international wraps. Take a look. Air raid sirens sounded across Oman after Iran launched another wave of missile attacks targeting Jordan. Jordan's armed forces said 3 Iranian missiles were intercepted and destroyed with no casualties or damage reported. Iran's Interior Minister Iskandar Momeni arrived in Pakistan for high-level talks as tensions between Iran and the United States continue to escalate. The visit is aimed at strengthening bilateral ties and supporting diplomatic efforts to revive a ceasefire. French President Emmanuel Macron welcomed the president from the palace of the bilateral talks. Now, the two leaders are expected to deepen cooperation in areas including investment, defense, energy, and environmental protection. Women in South Sudan's Bangolo village have appealed for better security, healthcare and education amid the ongoing conflict in the region. The United Nations say women remain key voices in the prompting peace while communities continue to face displacement and hardship. Because Britain is entering a new political chapter as Keir Starmer steps down as the 2 years after being the Prime Minister, formally ending his time at the number 10 Downing Street. Starmer says his government made Britain stronger and fairer while thanking the public and those who supported his leadership. Labour leader Andy Burnham is also set to take the country's next Prime Minister, inheriting a nation facing economic pressures, security challenges and also the high public expectations. We have a report. Take a look.
Britain is witnessing a major political transition as Keir Starmer formally stepped down from the Prime Minister's position after 2 years in office, bringing an end to his tenure at number 10 Downing Street. Before heading to Buckingham Palace to submit his resignation to King Charles III, Starmer addressed the nation, saying his work as Prime Minister was complete and reflecting on his government's achievements.
My work is done. In 6.5 years, I took our party from a historic defeat in 2019, changed it so it was fit to face the country, and won a landslide general election victory in 2024. Since then, it has been the privilege of my life to serve you and this great country as Prime Minister. And I am confident that Britain is now stronger and fairer than it was 2 years ago.
Starmer claimed Britain had emerged stronger under his leadership, pointing to economic improvements, lower immigration, reduced hospital waiting times, and what he described as a stronger international standing. The outgoing leader also praised the resilience and compassion of ordinary Britons, saying their efforts remain the country's greatest strength during challenging times.
Yet the thing I will always take away with me, the most humbling aspect of this job, is the front row seat you get to witness the greatest things of this country in action. To see every day immeasurable acts of resolve, grit, decency and compassion from people who serve our country, whether that's in their regimental colours, NHS scrubs, or simply the millions of people in their communities who volunteer their time and their effort to the ground beneath their feet.
Starmer also warned against growing divisions, saying Britain's adversaries would seek to exploit differences and undermine the country's values and support for Ukraine. Accompanied by his wife Victoria, Starmer then travelled to Buckingham Palace, where King Charles III formally accepted his resignation, officially bringing his premiership to an end. Photographs released from the palace showed the king greeting Starmer before accepting his resignation. Buckingham Palace later confirmed that the monarch was graciously pleased to accept it. With Starmer's departure, Labour leader Andy Burnham is all set to take over as Britain's next Prime Minister after securing overwhelming support within the party leadership contest.
Different people under our common flag if we don't succumb to that division. So, as I now pass the baton to Andy Burnham, I wish him every success. He has my full support. And finally, I want to thank once again my family, Vic and our children, my team, all the staff here and across the Labour Party, everyone at number 10 and across the civil service, and everyone who has supported our efforts along the way.
Burnham now becomes Britain's 7th Prime Minister since 2016, and he meets King Charles now to receive the monarch's formal assent before taking charge of the government. He inherits a country grappling with economic pressures, global security challenges, and rising public expectations, marking the beginning of a new political chapter in Britain.
We're heading into a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. There's a lot more lined up for you on the other side. Coming up after a short break, 4 Indians killed, 1 critically injured in attack on cargo ship MV Golden Leo while departing Odessa port in Ukraine.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi, and National Law School Bengaluru.
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाए जीरा से MTH का जल जीरा जीरा से
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH
जब तक लाजवाब न बन जाए उसे नहीं इत्मीनान है, तभी तो रिचमंड बनना नहीं आसान है।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है, अरे मेरी राजा राजा आरती और मसाला।
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
I wake up wearing someone else again, skin tight like porcelain. I don't recognize these eyes, something scratching from inside. Don't let it slip, I'm losing control. I don't wanna be safe anymore. Underneath there's a fire they can't keep. No more faces.
Finding myself, that's my moment of Sarah.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है, स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और परेशान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
We're live this morning. I'm Shivangi Shukla getting you the latest coming in. So yesterday the CJP held a protest and 118 were the number of injured in that protest. They were hurt in clash. And we saw a lot of ruckus which was created yesterday. We'll tell our viewers all about it, but the headlines first. Let's get started. Delhi police issue statement on violence by CJP protesters, says repeated warnings were issued to disperse. Delhi police says 118 personnel of the police sustained injuries, including many women police officers. 15 to 20 government vehicles were vandalized during the violence. Parliament resumed today at 11 a.m. after both the houses were adjourned more than 6 times on the first day of monsoon session. Four Indians killed, one critically injured in attack on cargo ship MV Golden Leo while departing Odessa port in Ukraine. India has hardened its stand on the Indus Water Treaty, making it clear that the agreement will remain in abeyance unless Pakistan addresses New Delhi's concerns over cross-border terrorism. 27 workers trapped in under-construction tunnel after landslide in Sikkim. Rescue operations on. And we must start with a big update coming in right now on Republic TV. Donald Trump, US President, has signed an executive order aimed at further strengthening America's defense supply chains with a focus on critical materials and components required to manufacture the equipment. The details were shared in a fact sheet released by the White House on Monday. The order directed the Department of War to begin with regulatory action requiring more comprehensive supply chain mapping for critical supply chains as designated by the Secretary of War. It also encouraged defense contractors to begin qualifying new domestic sources of critical minerals, materials and components used in designated national security procurements from domestic and partner nation sources, while also removing regulatory barriers in the qualification process. Okay, big updates coming in here on Republic TV. Let's move ahead, viewers, to some of the other breaking updates coming in. We have more visuals coming in from the South China Sea, viewers. We see that a Navy personnel from the Philippines was reportedly wounded after China Coast Guard members allegedly hit him with a wooden baton in an encounter near 2nd Thomas Shoal in the disputed South China Sea on Monday. The Armed Forces of the Philippines has issued a statement on the aggressive action of China Coast Guard. As per the statement, the Chinese Coast Guard personnel reacted very violently and aggressively by striking a Philippines Navy personnel on the head with a wooden baton, causing injury and damaging the Navy rubber boat operating within the area where the countrymen were enjoying sovereign rights under international law. So let's look at those pictures which are coming in on Republic TV. Those are the pictures of the latest big global development that we're tracking here on Republic TV. So what you see is that China and Philippines are trading accusations over the South China Sea encounter. The Philippine military says incident has injured one sailor from the Philippines and damaged a Navy rubber boat. And we will move ahead right now. Getting some more updates coming in. A third FIR has been filed by the Delhi police in connection with the CJP violence. So big updates coming in here on Republic TV. The FIR was registered under writing charges. Delhi police has registered an FIR at the Parliament Street Police Station under various sections of the BNS, including writing in connection with incidents that occurred under the guise of the Jantar Mantar protest. These incidents, viewers, involved violence, vandalism, damage to public property, obstruction of government officials in the discharge of their duties and snatching of police gear such as jackets and helmets. Okay, so big updates coming in here, viewers of Republic TV. So this is the latest third FIR And I'll just repeat once more what has happened. The Delhi police has registered an FIR at the Parliament Street Police Station under various sections, writing in connection with incidents that occurred under the guise of the Jantar Mantar protests. So these incidents involve vandalism, damage to public property, obstruction of government officials, and a lot more. So big updates coming in here, viewers on Republic TV. And once again, after the big ruckus and the protest that we saw yesterday itself, remember that many top Delhi cops and police women officers were among 118 police personnel that were hurt in clashes with protesters. And those are some pictures on your screen of the violence that we saw yesterday. This was, in fact, one of the Delhi's most violent street confrontation in years. And viewers, the fallout of the CJP protest is now being felt beyond the streets of the national capital as a direct impact to the violence, stone pelting and vandalism reported in parts of central Delhi. At least one school has shifted to online classes as a precautionary measure. We'll take a look at this report as we tell you exactly what happened.
The impact of the ongoing CJP protest has now reached classrooms in the national capital. In a direct impact to the escalating situation, Delhi School has announced that classes on July 21st will be held online during the prevailing law and order situation. In an advisory to parents, the school said students should attend virtual classes as per the regular timetable. The move comes after violent protests disrupted parts of central Delhi. Several Delhi police vehicles were vandalized near Connaught Place, Janpat and Jantar Mantar during the demonstrations. Police said protesters resorted to stone pelting, forcing security personnel to intervene and restore order.
I have got a message from one of my sources who's saying that SKV school, who is in the Lutyens Delhi, has informed the parents that tomorrow classes will be online because of the ongoing situations. The ongoing situation means the ongoing CJP protest.
Delhi police have detained several protesters and launched legal action in connection with the violence. Security has been intensified across key locations in central Delhi, with additional deployment to prevent any further escalation. Authorities continue to monitor the situation as schools and commuters remain affected by the disruption caused by the protesters.
And viewers, the numbers in Parliament are changing, and so is the political roadmap of the NDA government. Ahead of the monsoon session, the ruling alliance is inching closer and closer to the magic figure needed for constitutional amendments, while key reform bills are lined up for discussions this session. The bigger political conversation is whether the NDA could soon have the numbers to push through landmark proposals like delimitation and one nation, one election. Here's a look at the arithmetic behind the politics.
The monsoon session begins with the NDA entering Parliament in a stronger position than before, both politically and numerically. The government has listed 7 major legislations for discussion, including the FCRA bill. But beyond these ordinary legislations, the real political focus remains on constitutional amendments, where the NDA is steadily moving closer to the required numbers. In the Lok Sabha, the NDA currently has 319 MPs, leaving it 42 short of the 2/3 majority needed for constitutional changes. In the Rajya Sabha, the alliance stands at 150. However, political realignment have significantly strengthened the NDA's effective position. Trinamool rebels, Shiv Sena realignment and fresh Rajya Sabha entries have shifted the parliamentary equation in the government's favour. According to the latest political calculations, the NDA's effective strength in the Lok Sabha has climbed to around 354, putting it just 6 seats away from the 360 mark required for a constitutional supermajority. The next piece of the puzzle lies with the fence-sitters. The DMK, with 22 MPs, along with the AAP, JMM, independents and smaller parties, could determine whether the government crosses the final hurdle. Even issue-based support from these parties without formally joining the NDA could prove sufficient for specific constitutional amendments if voting patterns favour the government. In an exclusive response to Republic, NCP SP Jatinder Awad said that the door opened for issue-based support to NDA.
And sir, one speculation is going on that NCP SP may extend support to NDA based on issues.
See, basically try to understand one thing. When we are supporting something which is constitutionally correct, I don't think there should be any speculation. I am not here to answer speculations. I am here to answer the facts.
Political observers believe that the monsoon session will primarily test the government's legislative momentum, while the winter session could become far more significant if the numbers continue to move in the NDA's favour. In the monsoon session of the Parliament, the battle is no longer only over legislation, it is also over arithmetic, because in the race for constitutional reform, every number counts.
And viewers, let's move ahead. The National Conference has intensified its demand for the restoration of full statehood to Jammu and Kashmir, with party president Dr. Farooq Abdullah leading a major protest in the national capital after being denied permission to demonstrate at Jantar Mantar in Delhi. The party shifted its protest to Prithviraj Road. The NC accused the centre of failing to fulfill its promise made in Parliament and before the Supreme Court. Similar protests were also held in Jammu and Kashmir's Baramulla as the party declared that its fight for statehood has only just begun. Take a look.
National Conference leaders, led by Party President Dr. Farooq Abdullah, staged a protest in Delhi demanding the restoration of full statehood to Jammu and Kashmir. After being denied permission to protest at Jantar Mantar, the demonstration was shifted to Prithviraj Road, where hundreds of party workers gathered amid heavy security. Farooq Abdullah said the protest is to remind the centre of its promise to restore Jammu and Kashmir's statehood.
What is the reason of calling a Hurriyat chief to this particular protest?
The same thing, to remind this government in Delhi of their promise that they have made to the people of Jammu and Kashmir. That is what we are reminding them. Fulfill your promise. You go world over and say we have restored peace in Jammu and Kashmir. Then when the peace has been restored, why don't you restore statehood? What stops you from doing so?
But the fact that he had a links with Pakistan, in fact, despite the fact you have invited him.
Who has linked with Pakistan?
I'm talking with Mirwais Umar, the Hurriyat chief.
He doesn't have links with Pakistan. You are wrong. Please remove that thing from your minds. He is part of this nation.
Abdullah rejected allegations linking Mirwais Umar Farooq with Pakistan, saying he stands with the nation. On POJK, Abdullah urged the UN Human Rights Commission to take note of the situation. On the Indus Water Treaty, he said India should honour its treaty obligations. Protesters raised slogans of "We want statehood" while carrying banners demanding the restoration of the rights and dignity of the people of Jammu and Kashmir. Chief Minister Omar Abdullah joined the protest, saying the party's peaceful march may have been stopped, but its demand for statehood will continue. Similar demonstrations were also held in Baramulla, where party workers raised slogans demanding the restoration of Jammu and Kashmir's statehood.
Peaceful protest demonstrations today were held by the NC workers at their headquarters in Srinagar, where they are demanding the restoration of statehood. We are seeing the workers of the National Conference from the women's wing and the main workers of the National Conference, that also includes the old age people, have come demanding restoration of statehood. We are picking from the Delhi that the National Conference still now has not got the permission for the Jantar Mantar protest, for which around 41 MLAs have moved to Delhi, and they are presently at the JK House at Prithviraj Road.
Jammu and Kashmir was reorganized into the Union Territories of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh in August 2019 following the abrogation of Article 370. In December 2023, the Supreme Court upheld the constitutional validity of the centre's decision, observing that statehood should be restored at the earliest.
And viewers, moving right now to some of the other stories we're tracking coming in from all across the nation. Let's get started. The NDRF has launched a rescue operation in Assam's Shivasagar district after flash floods inundated a couple of areas following non-stop rainfall. The flood situation has affected over 36 lakh people across 16 districts, with the death toll rising to 10. Rescue operations are underway in Sikkim after a landslide triggered the collapse of an under-construction tunnel, trapping at least 12 workers. Multiple agencies have been deployed to clear debris and rescue those trapped. Police used water cannons to disperse SFI workers protesting in Thiruvananthapuram. The demonstrators were demanding the resignation of Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan over the alleged NEET paper leak issue. Seven people were killed after a massive rain-triggered landslide destroyed a house in Loran village of Pooch district. Rescue teams are continuing operations as heavy rain-related incidents have claimed 22 lives across the region in the last 24 hours. Let's go to the UK now. Britain has a new Prime Minister. Andy Burnham has officially taken charge after being invited by King Charles III to form the new government. Welcome with traditional applause at 10 Downing Street. The former Greater Manchester Mayor pledged to rebuild Britain, decentralise power and tackle the cost of living crisis. More in this report as we tell you the latest coming in and the biggest international story.
Andy Burnham officially entered 10 Downing Street on Monday following a meet with the King Charles III to form Britain's new government. The former Greater Manchester Mayor was welcomed with traditional applause as household staff lined up to greet Britain's new Prime Minister.
It's about putting the right values and the right standards at the heart of government. I will put the care of people at the heart of everything I do. I will give this my all, and I ask you all to pull with me. Let's build a new national sense of unity, of common purpose and positivity. Let us make this the moment when Britain starts to believe again, the moment we bring back hope.
Minutes earlier, Burnham met King Charles III at Buckingham Palace, where he formally accepted the King's invitation to form the next government. In a break from tradition, Burnham delivered his first address without the customary Prime Minister's lectern outside the famous Black Door. Burnham said politicians need to be better and promised to deliver a circuit breaker for a system he says has taken wrong turns since 1980s.
We will make this moment a circuit breaker for Britain, bringing forward the biggest changes in the last 40 years. A new political model, and a new economic model. In the 1980s, Britain took some wrong turns. Political power was centralised, economic power privatised, large parts of the country deindustrialised, and they still haven't recovered. Many feel as though they're still in decline, and they don't have the ability to turn things around. And that's why we will change politics, to make it more collaborative, more about problem solving than point scoring. And we will take power out of here and carry it into every postcode in the land so that they can do more.
Burnham promised to decentralise power, revive British industry and bring relief to families facing the cost of living crisis.
Later this year, I will bring forward a new plan for Britain, a 10-year plan, laying out a path from where we are now to where I believe we all want Britain to be, wherever we're coming from, whatever party we support. But I can do something to give people some breathing space now, some help with the cost of living. And I will set out some of those measures starting tomorrow, including how we pay for them.
He also pledged reforms in housing, education and welfare while promising to end rough sleeping across Britain, referring to homeless people sleeping in the open.
We will help more young people into work by changing the education system and giving them more support, more mental health support. And we will build more council homes. That is the fair and sustainable way to bring the welfare bill down, to meet our fiscal rules and to honour our commitments on defence to our international partners. We will help people to live well, building a more preventative state, investing in people's success rather than paying for failure. And that work starts now. I will soon go through that door behind me and issue my first instruction to end rough sleeping in our country.
Burnham succeeds Starmer after the outgoing Prime Minister tendered his resignation to King Charles III earlier in the day. The 56-year-old former mayor of Greater Manchester now becomes Britain's 7th Prime Minister since 2016, promising what he calls a new political and economic direction for the country.
And viewers, world champion Spain have returned home to a hero's welcome after lifting the FIFA World Cup trophy. Thousands of jubilant fans lined the streets of Madrid as the team arrived to celebrate. And the players are set to meet the Spanish King and Prime Minister before taking part in a grand victory parade. Take a look.
Spain's World Cup winning squad has returned home to a rousing welcome after lifting football's biggest prize. The team landed in Madrid on Monday, where thousands of supporters gathered to celebrate their historic triumph. Fans waving Spanish flags and wearing the national colours lined the streets to welcome the newly crowned world champions. The players are scheduled to be received by the Spanish royal family and Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez before joining a victory parade. An open-top bus carrying the champions will travel through central Madrid, passing some of the city's most iconic landmarks. The celebrations are set to culminate at the famous Cibeles Square, the traditional venue for Spain's biggest football triumphs. Spain secured the World Cup title after defeating defending champions Argentina by 1-0 in the final at East Rutherford in New Jersey. The victory marks Spain's second FIFA World Cup triumph, their first having come in South Africa in 2010. Sunday's final led to celebrations across Spain, with fans pouring onto the streets as the final whistle confirmed another golden chapter in the nation's football history. With the trophy in Madrid, Spain's latest generation of stars now takes its place alongside the legendary 2000 World Cup winning squad.
In fact, let's move ahead, viewers. Getting you all the updates coming in from the world of sports, especially what's happening in football. Let's get started. FIFA has launched a formal investigation into the chaotic conclusion of the World Cup final following shocking scenes of violence and an extraordinary display of hostility. Argentina's players and staff confronted Spain as they celebrated their triumph. Video footage shows assistant coach Roberto Ayala striking Spain playmaker Dani Olmo in the face during a fiery confrontation. Rudi Garcia will step down as Belgium's coach after failing to reach terms on a contract extension with the National Federation. Royal Belgian Football Association announced on Monday that his deal will expire at the end of the month and confirmed it has begun the search for a successor to the Frenchman. Indian opener Rohit Sharma has dismissed talk of an ODI retirement, insisting that the noise around his future is irrelevant as long as he continues to contribute to the team's success. In a video released by the Board of Control for Cricket in India on Monday, following India's ODI series defeat to England, the veteran batter emphasized that outside speculation has never shaped his approach to the game. And viewers, taking a short break, do not go anywhere. Delhi police issue statement on violence by the CJP protesters and says repeated warnings were issued to disperse the crowd. Stay tuned.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ 8 मिनट में तैयार क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला.
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi and National Law School Bengaluru.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है? आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट, स्वाद बढ़ाए चमकी चाट.
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और परेशान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान.
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट.
यानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं.
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा. रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना.
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं. रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात. वाओ मामा.
And viewers, welcome back. So Britain is entering a new political chapter as Keir Starmer steps down after 2 years as Prime Minister, formally ending his time at number 10 Downing Street. Starmer says his government made Britain stronger and fairer while thanking the public and those who supported his leadership. Here's more, take a look.
Britain is witnessing a major political transition as Keir Starmer formally stepped down from the Prime Minister's position after 2 years in office, bringing an end to his tenure at number 10 Downing Street. Before heading to Buckingham Palace to submit his resignation to King Charles III, Starmer addressed the nation, saying his work as Prime Minister was complete and reflecting on his government's achievements.
My work is done. In 6.5 years, I took our party from a historic defeat in 2019, changed it so it was fit to face the country, and won a landslide general election victory in 2024. Since then, it has been the privilege of my life to serve you and this great country as Prime Minister. And I am confident that Britain is now stronger and fairer than it was 2 years ago.
Starmer claimed Britain had emerged stronger under his leadership, pointing to economic improvements, lower immigration, reduced hospital waiting times, and what he described as a stronger international standing.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाए जीरा से MTH का जल जीरा जीरा से
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग, असली स्वाद, असली मजा।
MTH I wake up wearing someone else again, skin tight like porcelain. I don't recognize these eyes, something scratching from inside. Don't let it slip, I'm losing control. I don't wanna be safe anymore. Underneath there's a fire they can't keep. No more faces.
Finding myself, that's my moment of Sarah.
Pure Shahi Paneer Masala. Delicious, healthy, every day.
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hello and a very good morning. You're watching live and breaking on Republic TV. Now the CJP, which has been protesting on the Jantar Mantar for a few days now, took an ugly turn yesterday when they pelted stones and got into a major brawl with the police officials. We're tracking that for you, but first up we're going to give you the headlines and give you all the details of what is unfolding at this hour. Headlines now. Delhi police issues statement on violence by CJP protesters, says repeated warnings were issued to disperse. Delhi police says 108 police personnel sustained injuries, including several women police officers. 15 to 20 government vehicles were vandalized during the violence. Delhi police registers FIR against CJP protesters over the vandalism, stone pelting in central Delhi. Parliament to resume today at 11 a.m. after both the houses were adjourned more than 6 times for the first day of the monsoon session. India hardened stand on the Indus Water Treaty, making it clear that the agreement will remain in abeyance unless Pakistan addresses the New Delhi's concern over cross-border terrorism. Massive landslides in Sikkim kill at least 7. In fact, 27 workers also trapped under the construction tunnel. Rescue operations are on. Viewers, telling you about the third FIR which has been filed by the Delhi police in connection with the CJP violence. A violence that took place yesterday and resulted into a massive disruption and vandalizing of violence and also a lot of damage to public property is now been registered with a third FIR. Now, the Delhi police has registered this at the Parliament Street Police Station. In fact, the FIR has been filed under various sections of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, including provisions relating to rioting. So FIR is been, so far this is the third FIR that has been put into place. In fact, the case pertains incidents that occurred during the protest under the guise of a demonstration, but it later turned into a riot. On your television screens are visuals of what really took place, how the cars were vandalized. In fact, 70 people so far have been put, an FIR has been launched on them. And they not just vandalized property, they did not just create violence, they also obstructed the government officials while they were trying to discharge their duties. In fact, on your television screen in a short span of time are going to be visuals of how the police had to take cognizance and how they were also hurt in the process.
गाड़ी को देखिए कुचला जा रहा है, तोड़ा जा रहा है। देखेंगे ये सीपी पे पथराव हो गया है और यहाँ पे पुलिस की एक गाड़ी तोड़ दी गई है। लड़के आगे जाकर के पत्थर मार रहे हैं। ये क्यों कर रहे हो आप लोग? देखेंगे ये सीपी पे पथराव हो गया है और यहाँ पे पुलिस की एक गाड़ी तोड़ दी गई है। लड़के आगे जाकर के पत्थर मार रहे हैं। ये क्यों कर रहे हो आप लोग? देखेंगे ये सीपी पे पथराव हो गया है और यहाँ पे पुलिस की एक गाड़ी तोड़ दी गई है। लड़के आगे जाकर के पत्थर मार रहे हैं। ये क्यों कर रहे हो आप लोग? देखेंगे ये सीपी पे पथराव हो गया है और यहाँ पे पुलिस की एक गाड़ी तोड़ दी गई है। लड़के आगे जाकर के पत्थर मार रहे हैं। ये क्यों कर रहे हो आप लोग? देखेंगे ये सीपी पे पथराव हो गया है और यहाँ पे पुलिस की एक गाड़ी तोड़ दी गई है। लड़के आगे जाकर के पत्थर मार रहे हैं। ये क्यों कर रहे हो आप लोग? देखेंगे ये सीपी पे पथराव हो गया है और यहाँ पे पुलिस की एक गाड़ी तोड़ दी गई है। लड़के आगे जाकर के पत्थर मार रहे हैं। ये क्यों कर रहे हो आप लोग? देखेंगे ये सीपी पे पथराव हो गया है और यहाँ पे पुलिस की एक गाड़ी को देखिए कुचला जा रहा है, तोड़ा जा रहा है।
All right, I have my colleague Rakshita joining from the Vijay Chowk. Rakshita, this is clearly a case of rioting, something that started with a protest. You know, they wanted to have a peaceful conversation, but now it turned into a full rioting scenario. And the third FIR has been now registered. What are the other updates that you have for us? And if you could tell us, what is the ground situation right now at the Vijay Chowk?
Well, of course, around the parliament there is heavy security deployment and also police patrolling has been going on since morning is what we've observed. And yes, we've seen that the Delhi police is investigating the matter. We've seen that at least more than 250 videos are being investigated as per the probe. Not just the video cameras as far as the CCTV videos are concerned, but also the mobile phone footages, the drone footages and other recordings that have been caught on camera are being now investigated by the police. They're also checking if those who had reached Jantar Mantar, they were part of any pre-planned protest. Was there any pre-planned conspiracy behind this violence? Because this, of course, looked like, at least prima facie, it looks like an organized protest, an organized violence. It's a case of organized violence in the name of protest. Protest is a democratic right, but of course, violence is something that it also evolved into, that was anarchy on the roads, what we have witnessed, and more than 100 police security personnel have been injured, including women security personnel, be it from the Delhi police or from the Rapid Action Force. While there have been many claims doing the rounds on what police did, on how lathi charge was carried out. Now the police has its own version and saying that the police has exercised maximum restraint, and that they had in fact issued repeated warnings, but they were met with stone pelting, and they did not unleash tear gas, is what the police is saying right now. So yes, the investigation is picking up, and there will be footages from multiple locations that are being now examined, and those who have pelted stones and attacked the police are being identified.
Right. Thank you, Rakshita. Please stay with us. We're going to come back to you, but we're getting another breaking news of the hour that the Delhi police investigation is now largely based on the video footage, like you rightly mentioned, In fact, the Delhi police has accessed more than 250 videos, including mobile recordings. These are CCTV footages, these are drone visuals, and also the police body camera footage. So everything is now compiled and put on digitally, and the police are actually trying to identify who these miscreants were involved during the protests through these videos. The investigation is getting tighter. Of course, there is also going to be an involvement to see if these people who have now been arrested in the FIR, which has been registered on them, will they also have a prior criminal record? That's also something they will be looking at. Rakshita, I'm going to come back to you. I want to understand from you, do you think it's kind of a pre-planned strategy by the CJP that this was kind of pre-planned because the monsoon session was on, and do you think this has some kind of relation in it, or is it just something that would just happen by fluke?
See, what we understand is that these protests and this march was carried out in the name of NEET and justice for students. Now, we've seen that the re-NEET has been successfully carried out without any glitches, without any leaks, and that has happened days ago. And the NEET leak that happened long ago. Now, the fact that this march happens on the first day of the monsoon session, which alludes somewhere, indicates that it was all pre-planned. While it is being termed as anger of the people, anger of the students, students who are demanding justice cannot be unleashing anarchy. There are elements that are being, of course, the matter of investigation. We cannot comment on who was part of it exactly. But that is, of course, now the matter of investigation as to who was part of these protests, who has hijacked these protests. These are anarchical elements. These are anti-social elements, of course, because you see, there have been more than 100 security personnel that are now injured, many of them critically injured, more than 50 vehicles and public property have been damaged, have been vandalized, and that's all a matter of investigation now. As you mentioned about the drone footages, the CCTV footages, the mobile footages, everything is now under scanner. And also, what we understand is that medico-legal examination of the remaining injured police personnel is also underway. So the violent mob has caused at least damage to at least 15 to 20 government vehicles along with government property. Now, is this what you call protest? Will anyone who's backing this so-called march will justify this? That is the big question that we have been asking. And of course, we've seen that one of the CJP workers on camera have said that they want a Nepal-like situation. We all know what happened in Nepal in the name of Gen Z protest.
Right.
And if they want to storm the parliament, that cannot be allowed. If they want to attack the parliament, that cannot be allowed. It's a point-blank period. And that is how a democracy functions. If they want their rights, they have to work within the framework of democracy and not anarchy, is the big message that has to be now sent out. And Delhi police is, of course, urging caution against any misleading reports and rumors that everybody must exercise restraint.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rakshita. Please stay with us. You very rightly said, if you have rights, there are also some duties that one need to fulfill, and we will continue to, of course, track this piece of information. Right now, slipping into another breaking news that's coming, Delhi police has issued statement on the CJP violence in New Delhi. Now, this statement is revealing that 118 police officials have sustained injuries. including senior officers of special ranks. Now, these special rank officers include the Commissioner of Police, the Joint Commissioner of Police, the Additional Commissioner of Police, also the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Additional Deputy Commissioner of Police, and the Assistant Commissioner of Police. Besides all of them, there are these several women police personnel. And this violent mob has not just caused extensive damage to public property, but also 15 to 20 government vehicles along with other government properties. So on your television screen are visuals of all of these police officials, not just who were hurt after the whole incident, the whole riot took place, but also we showed you visuals of how these vehicles were vandalized by these protesters, the so-called protesters which turned into a riot. We're going to give you more details right now, but on your television screen are the visuals.
संसद भवन उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, संसद भवन उखाड़ दिया जाएगा और इस्तीफा नहीं मिला तो उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, सब उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, सब कर दिया जाएगा, नेपाल उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, नेपाल बनेगा, संसद भवन उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, संसद भवन उखाड़ दिया जाएगा और इस्तीफा नहीं मिला तो उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, सब उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, सब कर दिया जाएगा, नेपाल उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, नेपाल बनेगा, संसद भवन उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, संसद भवन उखाड़ दिया जाएगा और इस्तीफा नहीं मिला तो उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, सब उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, सब कर दिया जाएगा, नेपाल उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, नेपाल बनेगा, संसद।
All right, viewers, these were some disturbing visuals, but now shifting our focus to National Democratic Alliance Parliamentary Party meeting. It's a weekly strategy meeting, which is now known as the Mangal Milan, and it is going to be held in the Parliament House this morning at 9:30 a.m. In fact, in just another 15 minutes, you will see the meetings and we'll give you visuals of that. But Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to address the meeting. The meetings are traditionally held on Tuesday during the parliamentary session. Now, the intention is to demonstrate a complete alliance of unity. Also, the NDA alliance partners will pass the congratulatory motion message during this meeting. In fact, the Prime Minister Modi will be honoured for becoming the longest serving elected Prime Minister of India. The former Aam Aadmi Party Rajya Sabha members will also, who recently merged with the NDA, are going to be a part of this meeting, which is going to be held today. So a Mangal Milan meeting that is scheduled for today at 9:30 a.m. is going to take place, and the whole intention of this meeting, the agenda of this meeting, is complete alliance unity that will follow, and we will see. Now, a lot of agendas are going to be on top of this meeting. For example, the FCRA bill, which is going to tighten the scrutiny on foreign funds. And apart from this, the delimitation bills and other bills will also be the MSME bills and a lot other. The 6 key bills are also going to be a crucial part of this discussion. So on your television screen are visuals, but we will also be joining by my colleague Shambhavi, who is going to be giving us many more details. Shambhavi, thank you for joining us from Vijay Chowk. What is the updates that you have for us? The meeting is scheduled to start in another 10-15 minutes.
Well, yes, just in 15 minutes, the NDA's meeting, which is usually held on Tuesdays during the parliamentary session, which has now been rebranded as the Mangal Milan meeting, will be held in 15 minutes. It was supposed to start at 9:30 a.m. and that is what we are expecting. This meeting is going to do 2 things. One is the Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju is going to welcome the new BJP Rajya Sabha MPs, and the second is everybody is going to pass a congratulatory motion to congratulate the Prime Minister for being the longest serving Prime Minister of India. So it's going to serve 2 purposes, dual purposes today, and several other things are going to be discussed in this parliament, in this meeting, a strategy meeting which is being held by NDA. Although NCPI, the new party which was made by the rebels from the TMC, around 20 MPs will not be joining this meeting because no official recognition has been issued by the Lok Sabha Speaker on this faction's merger under the entire NCPI banner. But again, all the parties, the aim of this meeting, of this strategy meeting, Mangal Milan meeting, is going to show absolute alliance solidarity. Of course, NCPI will not be attending, as I already mentioned, but with the other parties, it will be attended by the Aam Aadmi Party MPs who've joined the NDA alliance, and all the crucial issues, including the FCRA bill, the MSME bill, the delimitation bill, and several other key issues is going to be discussed in this strategy meeting. But for now, they will also be honoring the Prime Minister Narendra Modi for being the longest serving Prime Minister, followed by a keynote address by himself, by Prime Minister himself. So this is what is expected out of the meeting. It is going to start in, let's say, 12 minutes. It is supposed to start at 9:30, and within 12 minutes, it is going to start with all the key issues or the itinerary of this entire meeting. Back to you.
Right, Shambhavi, thank you so much. And I know you'll be tracking this for us from the Vijay Chowk. But right now, we're shifting our focus to another important update that's coming in. This is the Rajya Sabha. In fact, the Union Home Minister Amit Shah is going to move for a leave to introduce the Prevention of Insults to National Honour Amendment Bill 2026. He will also move that the bill will be passed. These are the big breaking news updates that we have for the hour. It is the Union Home Minister Amit Shah who is today going to move for the leave to introduce the Prevention of Insults to National Honour Amendment Bill 2026. He will also move the bill that will be passed. So another breaking news that's coming in. And it includes the Vande Mataram 1971 National Honour Law, which basically means that every time this song will be played, there should be absolute solemnness and, of course, a lot of respect that will come along. And there should be no other way that makes disruption or insults to Vande Mataram, and it will turn out to be a punishable offence. In fact, now the numbers in the parliament are also changing, and this is the other news that we're getting for you. And so is the political roadmap of the NDA government. Ahead of the monsoon session, the ruling alliance is inching closer to the magic figure that is needed for the constitutional amendment. Now, while the key reform bills are lined up for discussion this session, the bigger political conversation is whether NDA could actually have these numbers to push through the landmark proposal like the delimitation bill, the one nation, one election. Here's a look at the arithmetic behind the politics. Take a look.
The monsoon session begins with the NDA entering parliament in a stronger position than before, both politically and numerically. The government has listed 7 major legislations for discussion, including the FCRA bill. But beyond these ordinary legislations, the real political focus remains on constitutional amendments, where the NDA is steadily moving closer to the required numbers. In the Lok Sabha, the NDA currently has 319 MPs, leaving it 42 short of the 2/3 majority needed for constitutional changes. In the Rajya Sabha, the alliance stands at 150. However, political realignment have significantly strengthened the NDA's effective position. Trinamool rebels, Shiv Sena realignment, and fresh Rajya Sabha entries have shifted the parliamentary equation in the government's favour. According to the latest political calculations, the NDA's effective strength in the Lok Sabha has climbed to around 354, putting it just 6 seats away from the 360 mark required for a constitutional supermajority. The next piece of the puzzle lies with the fence-sitters. The DMK, with 22 MPs, along with the AAP, JMM, independents and smaller parties, could determine whether the government crosses the final hurdle. Even issue-based support from these parties without formally joining the NDA could prove sufficient for specific constitutional amendments if voting patterns favour the government. In an exclusive response to Republic, NCP SP Jatinder Awad said that the door opened for issue-based support to NDA.
And sir, one speculation is going on that NCP SP may extend support to NDA based on issues.
See, basically try to understand one thing. When we are supporting something which is constitutionally correct, I don't think there should be any speculation. I am not here to answer speculations. I am here to answer the facts.
Political observers believe that the monsoon session will primarily test the government's legislative momentum, while the winter session could become far more significant if the numbers continue to move in the NDA's favour. In the monsoon session of the Parliament, the battle is no longer only over legislation, it is also over arithmetic, because in the race for constitutional reform, every number counts.
All right, viewers, another breaking news of the hour where the Philippine military has accused China's Coast Guard of allegedly injuring a Filipino sailor. Now, an incident that was disputed in Shual in the south of China. This is an accusation that is coming, according to what the Philippines are saying, that the Chinese Coast Guard personnel approached on a motorboat and repeatedly hit the Filipino sailor with a wooden baton. And now the Filipino sailor is not just injured, but his boat, the small boat or vessel which he was traveling on, was also simultaneously injured. Now there is a video evidence and also a Philippine reaction that's coming in. The Filipino sailor who was hit repeatedly by the Chinese sailor has now recorded the incident on the video, and in fact the Philippine officials are strongly not just condemning this assault, they're actually praising their Navy personnel, saying that they avoided the actions what could have actually escalated the situation. So on your television screen, you'll see Chinese Coast Guard personnel approaching on a motorboat and hitting the Filipino sailor with a wooden baton. And the Chinese have, of course, come up with a response. They have completely rejected the account, and they're saying that this was an illegally stationed Filipino vessel that actually rammed into the Chinese patrol. But there is an ongoing dispute. The area is definitely heavily disputed, but China is claiming that the entire South China Sea is theirs, and there is no other country that could take any claim or part on it. All right, viewers, with that, we're slipping into a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere. There's a lot more lined up on the other side. Coming up, India hardens its stand on the Indus Water Treaty, making it clear that the agreement will remain in abeyance unless Pakistan addresses New Delhi's concern over cross-border terrorism. After a short break.
प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा हार्डवेयर मसाला
In the India Today Best Universities Survey, India's #1 ranked universities in various streams are JNU Delhi, Amity University, AIMS Delhi, IIT Delhi and National Law School Bengaluru.
प्यास बुझाए ठंडक लाए सबको भाए जीरा से MTH का जलजीरा जीरा से
जीरा से असली रिफ्रेशिंग असली स्वाद असली मजा
MTH
रानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात वाओ मामा क्या स्वाद है अरे मेरे राजा मसाला
केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ रे दिल झूमे देखो मतवारा हुआ रे केसरिया से मन जोगी हुआ
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट अब बताओ स्वाद आया
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चंकी चाट
I wake up wearing someone else again. Skin tight like porcelain. I don't recognize these eyes. Something scratching from inside. Don't let it slip. I'm losing control. I don't wanna be safe anymore. Underneath there's a fire they can't keep. No more faces.
Finding myself. That's my moment of Sarah.
Yeah, I'm feeling very good, especially when I have a bunch of Argentina fan friends. They're really upset right now, and you know, I get to go home.
Hold back, park the bus, get it to pens, because I think if it went to penalties.
Argentina fan friends.
We're very proud of
They're really upset right now.
Our players
you know,
and
I get to go
country,
home,
and
make fun of them for the rest of for another 4 years. Yeah, I'm feeling very good, especially when I have a bunch of Argentina fan friends. They're really upset right now, and you know, I get to go home, you know, make fun of them for the rest of for another 4 years. So I'm excited for that. Yeah. Well, in the 90 minutes, Spain had like 18 or 20 shots, and Argentina had either 1 or 0. I'm not sure, but you know, statistically, and even like you could see it in the game, Argentina couldn't do anything. You know, ref canceled 2 of our goals, so.
A very warm welcome, viewers. You're watching Republic TV. This is Shivam Dutt Mehta, and the top focus today is the NDA, which is nearing the supermajority because there are various political parties which are ready to offer issue-based support. Now, that also includes NCP, SP. On camera, they confirm they are ready to offer issue-based support to NDA in various matters which are constitutionally right. You also have other parties who are defecting, the members of the parties defecting from their party and aligning with the NDA, joining the NDA, because you have the Trinamool rebels joining and you have the Uddhav Sena rebels joining the NDA. We'll get you all the latest updates on that. And also, it's the second day, very important, of the monsoon session. We'll also get you updates on that. But first up, let's have a look at the top headlines of the hour. Put Delhi police issues a statement on violence by CJP protesters. Violent protesters says repeated warnings were issued to disperse. Delhi police says 118 police personnel sustained injuries, including several women police officers. 15 to 20 government vehicles were vandalized during the violence. Delhi police registers FIR against CJP protesters over vandalism, stone pelting in central Delhi. Day 2 of monsoon session, Parliament to resume today at 11 a.m. after both the houses were adjourned more than 6 times and 7 times on the first day of monsoon session. India hardens stand on the Indus Water Treaty, making it clear that the agreement will remain in abeyance unless Pakistan addresses New Delhi's concerns over cross-border terrorism. And death toll from the massive landslides in Sikkim rises to 8. 27 workers were trapped in under-construction tunnel. Rescue operations are on. All right, viewers, these are the visuals coming in of the crucial all-party meet, NDA meet, and this is in the Parliament today. This is the NDA Parliamentary Party meet, which is happening right now. It's the first meeting under the new name which has also been given to this, which is Mangal Milan. On Tuesday, that is today, at Parliament, aiming to strengthen coordination during the monsoon session. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will address the MPs from all NDA constituents. These are the live visuals, ladies and gentlemen, coming on your screen. This is the National Democratic Alliance, the NDA's parliamentary party meeting, which is happening at the Parliament. And this is the first gathering under its newly adopted Mangal Milan. Mangal Milan is the name. This is NDA's Mangal Milan. That is the meeting. As they are the ruling coalition, they seek to strengthen the coordination during the ongoing monsoon session, and various MPs, also new leaders, will also be introduced in this meeting. And this is this was supposed to happen from 9:30, and these are the visuals coming in on your screens. And this is happening at the GMC Bala Yogi Auditorium in the Parliamentary Library building. And members of the Parliament from all NDA constituents in both the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha are ready to attend, are expected to attend this. And PM is going to address this meeting. Shambhavi is also live with us with all the latest updates. Shambhavi, we are getting the visuals. The Prime Minister has arrived and Defence Minister Rajnath Singh has also arrived. Over to you for all the latest, Shambhavi.
Well, yes, as per the latest information that we are getting, we know that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi has arrived at the venue, which is here at the Parliament Library building. And apart from that, even Dharmendra Pradhan has also arrived. Rajnath Singh has arrived. So all the major faces, all the major ministers, they are arriving one after the other. And this meeting, which is again a rebranded meeting of the NDA party, which usually takes place on Tuesdays once the parliamentary session starts. And this is what is happening inside, that there are several things. And this meeting is going to serve two purposes. One purpose is to pass, the alliance is going to pass a congratulatory motion to congratulate Narendra Modi, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, on his longest term. So he is the longest serving Prime Minister of India. And apart from that, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju is also going to welcome the new NDA BJP Rajya Sabha MPs, which will also include the MPs from the Aam Aadmi Party, although notably NCPI, which has freshly offered their extended support to the NDA, is not going to be present in this party because the Lok Sabha Speaker has yet not issued an official confirmation or which is related to the new merger, the new factions, new merger under the NCPI banner. But yes, several important issues, including several key bills, which is FCRA, MSME, delimitation bill. All these bills are going to be discussed, and what is going to be the NDA's strategy to go ahead in this parliamentary session, because we have seen that in this particular session, just one day in, and it has not been a fruitful day, it has not been a productive day. Just yesterday, the Lok Sabha was adjourned 7 times, Rajya Sabha 6 times, and nothing productive, nothing could be done. There was chaos both inside and outside Parliament, what we saw. But Shivam, very important things, all the key bills, all the key issues are expected to be discussed in this meeting of NDA. And they are going to discuss what is going to be their strategy to make sure that the Parliament runs smoothly legislatively.
It definitely, it's very crucial, very important. And it's also happening, Shambhavi, at the time when you very rightly highlighted the fact that the Parliament was adjourned one after the other, 6 times and 7 times, the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. That's what we are getting to know. And these are the visuals of the Home Minister also coming. Finance Minister also has come. Now, Shambhavi, it's also important to highlight that who will be attending this all-party meet and how they will be, the new MPs, the new leaders will also be introduced in this meeting. And it also reflects the message of strength by the NDA, a message being conveyed that we are strong, we are together, and we are growing because they are nearing the super majority. Shambhavi.
Well, yes, the absolute aim of this meeting would be to show the alliance solidarity and how the NDA is going to deal with things going forward in this parliamentary session. There's going to be 25 days originally, and 19 sittings, which is again 18 because one sitting we practically wasted yesterday, Shivam, as I was telling you about the adjournments and the chaos which was both inside and outside Parliament. So it will be very interesting to see what is going to be NDA's take on everything. What key issues will they be discussing? What will be their strategy to make sure that both the houses are run smoothly and that any work could be done? The important questions, the important discussions which needs to be taken care of. Although we know that what the opposition has been planning is for a confrontational opening of this parliamentary session, and that is exactly what they did in this entire the entire day yesterday and today. After, of course, the congratulatory motion has been passed to honour the Prime Minister, and after his keynote address, several key issues will be discussed, Shivam, and we'll see what will be NDA's strategy, what will be NDA's outlook, and how to go about the rest of the session. Shivam.
All right, Shambhavi, thanks a lot. Keep tracking of all the developments. We'll come back to you as more details emerge. But these are the visuals coming in of the Mangal Milan of the NDA, an important meeting of NDA. And you can see the visuals of various leaders arriving for the meeting, and Prime Minister is already there. All right, viewers, now let's move on to another big story that we are tracking. This is about the violent protests by the CJP. And now Republic spoke to RAF Commandant Sonia Shehrawat, who was leading the RAF team at Jantar Mantar, and she was also injured during the CJP protest. Many police officers, many senior police officers also, they were injured, and shoes, beer bottles hurled at security forces. So you can understand the kind of protest it was. RAF Commandant also injured in the violence speaks exclusively to Republic and highlights the fact that shoes was hurled towards the security personnel. The beer bottles were hurled at security forces. So this needs to be highlighted, that were they drinking? Were they under the influence of alcohol, all these protesters, that they were hurling these beer bottles at the police personnel, and they were injured. Shoes, beer bottles, stones and whatnot. You can see the visuals of the chaos, the aftermath of the chaos at that location after the protest. Now, let's go across to the interaction we had with Sonia Shehrawat, the Assistant Commandant RAF.
मैम कुछ बता पाएंगे कल किस तरीके से हुआ, क्या आउटसाइडर से, क्योंकि आप लीड कर रही थी जंतर मंतर पर रैपिड एक्शन फोर्स को, क्या हुआ था मैम, कैसे मॉब इकट्ठा हुआ?
मॉब हमने सुबह जब वहाँ पर चार्ज किया, हमने जब अपना लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस वहाँ पर लगाया था कि आप यहाँ से आगे नहीं जा सकते, आप संसद की तरफ कूच नहीं कर सकते, आपका ये मजमा इलीगल है जी। और इसको हमने उनको वार्निंग भी दिया। बहुत सारे लोग थे, काफी लोग जुट रहे थे बारी पर, अलग अलग डायरेक्शन से आके, हमने वो किसी को रोका नहीं। अब प्रोटेस्ट करने से हमने किसी को नहीं रोका, सबको आने दिया। पुलिस ने सभी को परमिशन दिया प्रोटेस्ट ज्वाइन करने के लिए, एक भी सिंगल बंदे को नहीं रोका गया जी। पर अपील की गई कि आप लोग इसको सिर्फ शांति पूर्वक ही इसको करें और यही करें जी। आपको आगे जाने की अभी अनुमति नहीं मिली है, दिल्ली पुलिस ने आपको अनुमति नहीं दी है, परमिशन इज नॉट ग्रांटेड जी। लेकिन वो लोग आगे बढ़ने को आते और बैरिकेडिंग भी तोड़ने को तैयार थे और बहस कर रहे थे, प्रोवोक कर रहे थे उस चीज के लिए, और लाइन ऑफ डिफेंस क्रॉस करने की कोशिश करने में ही उनके ऊपर कार्रवाई की गई, उनको खदेड़ा गया पीछे की तरफ। ओके, इसमें स्टैम्पेड हुआ और कुछ लोगों को उधर से भी चोटें आई, हमें भी चोटें आई।
तो मैम क्या उन्होंने महिलाओं को आगे कर दिया, क्योंकि रैपिड एक्शन फोर्स की महिला बटालियन भी वहाँ पर थी? उन्होंने इंटेंशनली मतलब दे थॉट दैट कि गवर्नमेंट ने एक लेडी ऑफिसर को आगे किया है कि
cutting across, coming in from the Mangal Milan, live visuals coming in from the Mangal Milan, the key meeting. This is amidst the monsoon session of the Parliament. Today is the second day of the monsoon session of the Parliament. You can see various senior leaders sitting on the front row, including the Prime Minister. And you can see Nitin Gadkari, Rajnath Singh, JP Nadda and other senior leaders. Amit Shah on your screens, Nitin Nabeen on your screens. Ladies and gentlemen, live visuals coming in from the Parliament. And this is of the meeting which is happening right now, where you can see the visual. The various political leaders from across parties have joined this. This is happening amidst the chaos which is also happening in the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. It was adjourned. The Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha was back-to-back adjourned for more than 6 to 7 times. This is Mangal Milan. This is the new name for NDA Parliamentary Party meeting, which has been given the NDA power display. On your screens, ladies and gentlemen, first on Republic exclusive visuals. And a session strategy will also be chalked out in this crucial meeting. And these are the visuals coming in from the NDA Mangal Milan. Shambhavi is with us for all the latest updates. Shambhavi, we are getting the live visuals, and a session strategy will also be chalked out in the meeting. It's what we are getting to know.
Yes, Shivam, because what we've seen yesterday, as we've been telling our viewers again and again, that both the houses were adjourned back to back 6 times, 7 times, and nothing could actually be done yesterday. There were a lot of important key bills which were supposed to be put on table and discussed, and nothing could actually happen, neither in the question hour nor in the 0 hour, which is very crucial because that is when MPs actually bring up important issues where discussions take place, and that is what the opposition has been asking to as well. The opposition has also been saying and has been very open about the fact that they want certain discussions to take place, whether it's Ayodhya Ram Mandir donation theft or it's the NEET case and several other key issues, and that is why we are seeing riots outside the Parliament as well. But even after repeated request from the Prime Minister as well as the Parliamentary Affairs Minister to actually let both the houses run smoothly so that important work could be done, but that was clearly not taken very seriously by the parties, and we saw what happened yesterday. But today in the meeting, again, the NDA will be discussing what is going to be their strategy, what is going to be their plan of action in the house, in both the houses from now onwards. And of course they will be welcoming the new NDA BJP what we can say Rajya Sabha MPs, which will include the MPs which were also in the Aam Aadmi Party previously. And they are going to be welcomed by the Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju. And again, a congratulatory motion will also be passed to honour Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as he is the longest serving Prime Minister of India. So both these things will be done apart from preparing a strong strategy to see whether to play offensive, whether to play defensive, and what is going to be their plan of actions once this session starts today.
Yes, definitely. These are the visuals coming in from Mangal Milan and the key meeting of the NDA. This is NDA's key huddle ahead of the second day of the monsoon session in the Parliament. Visuals coming in of the Prime Minister, and very shortly we're getting to know there will be an address, and also new MPs will also be welcomed in the NDA. And that's very crucial. All the rebel MPs, not NCPI in this regards, because they have to wait for an approval by the Speaker. But all those who are going to join NDA, especially those who left the Aam Aadmi Party, they will be welcomed. That's what we are getting to know. And visuals on your screen, as you can see, live visuals from the Mangal Milan on your screens. PM Modi is set to address, and the agenda, the strategy for the monsoon session will also be decided. And this is the first time that this meeting has been named. A name has been given to the meeting as a Mangal Milan. This is the meeting which is happening in the Parliament. And this is the NDA's parliamentary party meet, and which is being held, the first meeting under the new name, that is Mangal Milan, in the Parliament complex. This is aimed to strengthen coordination during the monsoon session, and PM is going to address all the MPs from all NDA constituents. Important meeting, Mangal Milan, live visuals on your screen, and this is the NDA. the ruling coalition seeks to strengthen the coordination during the ongoing monsoon session. It was supposed to start at 9:30, right on time, at the GMC Balayogi Auditorium in the Parliamentary Library building. Members of Parliament from all NDA constituents in both the houses, that is the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha, are expected to attend, and you can see the visuals of many of them attending this Mangal Milan. Prime Minister is scheduled to address this key meeting, because at 11 you'll also have the parliamentary session beginning. So before that you'll have the PM's address also, and this key meeting where the strategy will be chalked out. All right, Rakshita is joining us on the phone line for all the latest updates. Rakshita, it is indeed a monsoon session. It's raining when we talk about the Parliament, Jantar Mantar and all locations in New Delhi. And this is the Mangal Milan which is happening in the Parliamentary Party complex, in the Parliament complex in GMC Balayogi. Over to you for all the latest. All right, Rakshita, we are not getting your audio. We'll try to fix that and go across to Rakshita once again, but the visuals are coming in. These are the visuals of the NDA Mangal Milan, and you can see Prime Minister Narendra Modi on the front seat and various top leaders sitting in the front seat. In a very short while, PM will address. All right, viewers, we are going across to another big breaking news development that we are tracking. This is Delhi Police's investigation is now largely based on video footage. Delhi Police has access to more than 250 videos, including mobile recordings, the CCTV footage, the drone visuals also, and police body cam footage. Now, police are investigating, are identifying miscreants involved in the protest through these videos. Now, the investigation will also examine whether those involved have any prior criminal records. That's important to highlight, and that's important to investigate. The police are probing whether those involved in Monday's violence had reached Jantar Mantar as part of a pre-planned strategy. Now, they are also examining whether individuals involved in stone pelting, vandalism and attacks on the police during the March 20 parliamentary march were acting in an organized manner. On this protest which happened, the probe further includes whether any WhatsApp or Telegram groups were created to instigate people ahead of the violence in New Delhi. That's what we're getting. Delhi Police coming through 250 videos after an FIR has been filed. Various FIRs have been filed against the protest at various locations because of the vandalism and the violence, and how police personnel were injured, were hit with stones, with beer bottles. That's what we are getting to know. Now, the Delhi Police is examining more than 250 videos, which includes the mobile recordings, the CCTV footage, the drone visuals, and police body cam footage. Now, police are identifying miscreants involved in the protest. Through these videos, the investigation will also examine whether those involved have any prior criminal record. Police are probing whether those involved in Monday's violence had reached Jantar Mantar as part of a pre-planned strategy. They are also examining whether individuals involved in stone pelting, vandalism and attacks on police during the March 20 Parliament on this march were acting in an organized manner. That is, July 20 Parliament March were acting in an organized manner. The probe further includes whether any WhatsApp or Telegram groups were created to instigate people ahead of the violence in New Delhi. These are the visuals of the violence where you can see how the policemen were beaten, how the police vehicles were vandalized, the screens were smashed, the windshields were smashed by the violent protesters. As you can also see, the stones being hurled, and how they were threatening to raise the parliament building, and they were warning that there will be a Nepal-like protest in India, a rerun of the Nepal protests in India, in New Delhi. Now that's what was the idea of the protests of the CJP protesters, the violent protesters, where they injured many police personnel. Well, viewers, let's go across to another top story that we are tracking. This is also related to the protest. Now, tensions boiled over in the national capital on Monday as a CJP protest timed with the start of the monsoon session turned into violent clashes, with protesters resorting to stone pelting and property damage. As per reports, 118 Delhi police personnel were left injured after a mob breached police barricades in a push toward Parliament. Now, police officials stated they repeatedly urged the crowd to clear the area before intervening, and the atmosphere quickly turned hostile. Now, this raises a major issue of the protest was a spontaneous anger or a calculated effort to disrupt the Parliament. More in this report.
Stones hurled, barricades breached, security forces under attack in the heart of the national capital. A protest by CJP backers descended into chaos, with protesters clashing with police near the Parliament. More than 50 police personnel were injured as stones rained down on security forces deployed to maintain order. Among those injured were police officers posted near Jantar Mantar. According to injured officers, several thousand protesters gathered at the site, overwhelming the security deployment and pelting stones from multiple directions.
लग रहा था कि ये स्टूडेंट है, मतलब इतनी उग्र होगी पुलिस टीम पे पथराव
एटीट्यूड से उनकी जो मोडस ऑपरेंडी थी उससे ये नहीं कह सकते कि ये प्रोटेस्टर थे और ये स्टूडेंट थे। वो तो एक तरीके से उग्र प्रदर्शन था उनका, जबकि वहाँ से संसद मार्ग से प्रदर्शन खत्म हो चुका था। संसद मार्ग से प्रदर्शन खत्म हो चुका था और जनपद पर आकर के जो है वो प्रोटेस्टर जो बचे हुए थे वो इकट्ठे उन्होंने जो है उग्र प्रदर्शन करना शुरू कर दिया। कहाँ से पत्थर, या तो उनको कहीं से प्लांट था, उनका पहला प्रोग्राम हो, कहीं से पत्थर लेके आए, ईंट भी थी, पत्थर भी थे।
तो जिस जगह पे आप पोस्टेड थे वहाँ पे कितने आपके साथ टीम के और मेंबर्स थे?
टीम के मेंबर हमारे पास कम से कम भी 100 या 150 करीब थे।
सामने कितने थे?
सामने 1000 थे, 1000 से भी ज़्यादा होंगे। हाँ, ज़्यादा थे, वो तादाद इतनी है 1000-2000।
लड़की को तो सिर में काफ़ी चोट आई।
अच्छा, वो पुलिस टीम?
हाँ, पुलिस टीम की थी वो। उस लड़की को जो है ना सिर में पत्थर लगा के, और पत्थर लगने के बाद में वो बेचारी गिर गई, वो जो है ना उसको यहाँ उसका ट्रीटमेंट हुआ।
The violence erupted during a protest organized by the Cockroach Janata Party on the opening days of the monsoon session of the Parliament.
It's time to slip into a short commercial break, but don't go anywhere because there's a lot more lined up coming up after the break. Ladies and gentlemen, Delhi police registers FIR against CJP protesters over vandalism. Stone pelting in central Delhi. Coming up next, all details on that and a lot more after a short commercial break. Don't go anywhere.
I wake up wearing someone else again, skin tight like porcelain. I don't recognize these eyes, something scratching from inside. Don't let it slip, I'm losing control. I don't wanna be safe anymore. Underneath there's a fire they can't keep. No more faces.
Finding myself. That's my moment of Sarah.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है? आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट, स्वाद बढ़ाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और परेशान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ।
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
We cannot say that we will see relief for sure, but yes, definitely messages are being exchanged between Iran and the United States, and both of them have confirmed. Messages are being exchanged and both sides are looking or examining the messages which they are receiving. Marco Rubio has also indicated that, and similarly, the Iranian Foreign Ministry has indicated that. As of now, America is definitely hammering Iran, especially the coastal areas and south of Iran, right? The ports, the civil infrastructure, also the bridges, the roads, the towers, the radar system towers and all, so that it can degrade the capabilities of the Iranian forces to impact and influence the Strait of Hormuz. However, whatsoever be the extent of American attacks, it seems Iran is retaliating back, and Iran is also succeeding a little bit. And with
A very warm welcome, viewers. You're watching Republic TV. This is Shivam Dutt Mehta. Now, heavy monsoon rains have thrown normal life out of gear in Uttar Pradesh's Prayagraj. Now, roads and underpasses were submerged. Vehicles got stranded and commuters struggled to wade through waterlogged streets as relentless showers lashed the city. Watch this report.
Heavy monsoon showers inundated several parts of Prayagraj, leaving roads and underpasses submerged. Commuters were seen pushing stranded two-wheelers through waterlogged stretches as traffic slowed across the city. Low-lying areas witnessed severe waterlogging, making movement difficult for pedestrians and motorists alike. Residents navigated flooded roads while several vehicles remained stuck in inundated underpasses. The spell of heavy rain brought relief from the heat but also exposed drainage challenges across the city. Monsoon activity has intensified across large parts of northern India, with authorities keeping a close watch on weather conditions.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
यानी इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी बार एकदम सॉलिड।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट
we cannot say that we will see relief for sure, but yes, definitely messages are being exchanged between Iran and the United States, and both of them have confirmed. Messages are being exchanged and both sides are looking or examining the messages which they are receiving. Marco Rubio has also indicated that, and similarly the Iranian Foreign Ministry has indicated that. As of now, America is definitely hammering Iran, especially the coastal areas and south of Iran, right? The ports, the civil infrastructure, also the bridges, the roads, the towers, the radar system towers and all, so that it can degrade the capabilities of the Iranian forces to impact and influence the Strait of Hormuz. However, whatsoever be the...
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Hello and a very warm welcome. You're watching Republic TV. I'm Gesu Bharadwaj, and the violence by the CJP protesters on the streets of the national capital yesterday has now led to the Delhi police taking action against the vandalism, the rioters. FIR has been registered. At least 70 people have been detained. We're getting you all the details of the action that's been taken by the Delhi police. But first, a check on your headlines. Delhi police issues statement on violence by CJP protesters, says repeated warnings were issued to disperse. Delhi police says 118 police personnel sustained injuries, including several women police officers. 15 to 20 government vehicles were vandalized during the violence. Delhi police registers FIR against CJP protesters over vandalism, stone pelting in central Delhi. Parliament to resume today at 11 a.m. after both the houses were adjourned over 6 times on the first day of the monsoon session. India hardens stand on the Indus Waters Treaty, making it clear that the agreement will remain in abeyance unless Pakistan addresses New Delhi's concerns over cross-border terrorism. Massive landslides in Sikkim. At least 8 people have been killed and 20 workers continue to remain trapped under construction tunnel. Rescue operations remain on. Now, starting first with what happened on the streets of the national capital yesterday. Now, Delhi police's investigation is largely based on video footage evidence. The Delhi police has access to over 250 videos, including mobile recordings, CCTV footage, drone visuals, and even police body camera footage. The police are identifying miscreants involved in the protests through these videos. The investigation will also examine whether those involved have any prior criminal record. Now, police are probing whether those involved in Monday's violence had reached Jantar Mantar as part of a pre-planned strategy, doubling down as a conspiracy. They're also examining whether these individuals who were involved in stone pelting, vandalism, and even attacks on police personnel during the 20th March Parliament march were acting in any organized manner. The probe further includes whether any WhatsApp or Telegram groups were created to instigate people ahead of the violence that took place on the streets of the national capital just yesterday. These are some of the visuals that have come forward. And while the police has now accessed over 250 video footages, over 118 police personnel were injured. In fact, my colleague Rakshita also continues to be with us on the broadcast. She's joining us from outside the Vijay Chowk. Rakshita, speak to us about the latest revelations that have come forward. The Delhi police is, pegging their entire investigation on over 250 video footages. And in fact, they've also released their first statement. 70 rioters have been detained, while 118 security forces personnel have been injured in the violent protests from yesterday. Rakshita.
Right. In fact, we have at least 5 FIRs in total as of now in the latest update that have been now registered in Connaught Place, in the Parliament Street and the other police station as well. And yes, the electronic evidence is now under scrutiny. More than 250 footages, mobile camera, CCTV footages, and also the body cam. Police also, many police personnel also have been using the body cam, and that footage will also be examined by the agency. emergencies is what we are understanding from the sources that are telling us from the police. In fact, there was an important meeting that was held last night with the DCP, and it was a high-level meeting where it was decided that all the electronic material, it not only involves, it does not only include the CCTV footage or the video evidence, but also the electronic evidence that includes WhatsApp chats or Telegram chats or any other software that has been used. So communication lines are also being now investigated. Why? Because this has been what prima facie case of looks like an orchestrated case of mob violence and not a protest. In the name of need protest, we saw what happened. We have in fact broken those videos just yesterday that show how police were met with stone pelting. The police were controlling the crowds so that there is no untoward incident, but there were multiple videos that have come, that have been accessed by Republic TV, which actually clearly show that there was mass mobilization, that there were people hurling stones, and there were big stones in fact that we had in fact accessed the footage of. So yes, that is being examined, and as per the sources, police are also using the material to identify the miscreants, that if it was a premeditated plot. All those at Jantar Mantar who had reached yesterday. Why yesterday specifically? Why particularly? Because it was the first day of the monsoon session, and this was a march that was called Chalo Sansad. And we saw what happened, how there was one of the workers of the CJP who was caught on camera saying, declaring that they will storm into the parliament and they will create a Nepal-like situation. They will breach the barricades, they will breach security and attack the parliament. So yes, it's a dangerous situation that that New Delhi witnessed yesterday, and henceforth the police is right now investigating all the material. We also see across the length and breadth of the national capital today there is a heightened security, there is increased vigil, and there is more patrolling that is happening today, because there should be no such untoward incidents that were witnessed yesterday, because more than 100 police personnel, security personnel, rapid action force personnel, including the women personnel, have been attacked, have grievous injuries. Yesterday we saw police officers also meeting all the injured in the hospital. So yes, those were scenes. There's more material that is being examined, because there could have been an intention for bloodied violence, and we see that there was blood on uniform of several of the officers. So yes, it's a matter of investigation, and police remains alert right now as well.
Definitely, Rakshita. In fact, continue being with us. We're also picking up some more details. In fact, the Delhi police has now issued a statement on the CJP violence in New Delhi. The statement reveals over 118 police personnel sustained injuries, including senior officers of all the ranks of Special Commissioner of Police, Joint Commissioner of Police, Additional Commissioner of Police, even Deputy Commissioner of Police and Additional Deputy Commissioner of Police, including Assistant Commissioner of police, besides several women police personnel. Now, in fact, the violent mob, as per the statement, also caused extensive damage to public property. Around 15 to 20 government vehicles, especially police cars and buses, along with other government property, were vandalized, broken, attacked during the incident. Around 70 protesters have been detained. Appropriate legal action, as per the police, has also been initiated. And in fact, like my colleague Rakshita also said, at least 5 FIRs have been registered under relevant provisions of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita and other applicable laws for rioting, assault on public servants and damage to public property and other offences committed during the protest. Now, the Delhi police also remains committed to maintaining public order. As per the statement, they've revealed that over 118 police personnel have been injured in the violence. In fact, let's also listen in to what the rioters have to say about the matter.
संसद भवन उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, संसद भवन उखाड़ दिया जाएगा और इस्तीफा नहीं मिला तो उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, सब उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, सब कर दिया जाएगा, नेपाल उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, नेपाल बनेगा, संसद भवन उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, संसद भवन उखाड़ दिया जाएगा और इस्तीफा नहीं मिला तो उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, सब उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, सब कर दिया जाएगा, नेपाल उखाड़ दिया जाएगा, नेपाल बनेगा।
You know, Rakshita, the so-called peaceful protest, we've seen visuals of, stone pelting. We've seen visuals of police vehicles and government property being vandalized, being overturned. And that's exactly what the police has said in their first statement that's been released today. In fact, we also just heard one of the CJP protesters who says that the whole of Parliament will be uprooted in case the resignation doesn't come in. You know, the fervor behind this protest does not seem peaceful at all. In fact, the police has also said that most number of protesters were not even students. These were middle-aged people. These were people who were supporting NGOs, who were supporting political parties. What more are you picking up on this, Rakshita?
Well, yes, this is one of the most violent street confrontation that we have seen in the past few years in the national capital. And yes, the police is now probing that was this a part of a larger conspiracy towards a bloodied violence, because the city has in fact seen such seen violence and riots earlier. We've seen what happened in 2020 in the name of protest. We've seen what happened in 2021 when the Red Fort was breached. So we do understand that there is a lot of concern about what happened yesterday. The proof is on camera. We saw how many individuals had gathered. We also had in fact showed a video during Arnab Goswami's debate at around 8:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. that there was one of the protests who were part of those protests who said that they were not students, that they are working somewhere. So yes, the intention is questionable as to who has hijacked the so-called protests, who is backing these protests, who is backing the CJP, and what was the intention of the CJP, the kind of reaction that are coming in from these rioters. We see what was their intention, and the violence that was unleashed has led to multiple officers, top officers also. The fact that top officers were on ground also reveals the fact that how the situation was going out of control, and the top officers had to come onto the ground to control, and they say that they have been exercising maximum restraint, and they will be, of course, this parliament where I'm standing right now is a high security zone. Every person, even the media person who come here, are checked. You have to show your identity card. So if there is a mob that marches towards the to the Parliament House, they cannot be allowed to run over the barricades and breach. And the police's duty is that they should be controlled. And when they could not be controlled, we saw what happened. And there were police who were being, there was stone pelting. So where did they get these stones from? Was it a planned conspiracy? Because we've seen that in the past that what has happened in the protests, and they have now maybe, there could have been, this is the possibility that is being investigated, that was it all mobilized? And what channels have been used to mobilize all of these people? Who are these people? They are being identified using different methods, and all the videos, videographic proof, videographic evidence and electronic evidence is being investigated to ascertain who are these people. And this cannot be allowed in any part of the country, let alone the capital city, at a very, very sensitive time. And while the police says that everybody has the right, we've even seen the Union Minister J.P. Nadda meeting representatives of the CJP and urging them to stop the protests and cooperate with the administration. But despite that, we've seen that what was happening on the ground, the situation was normal after that, and it remains normal right now as we speak, but there is heightened vigil. We see that in the name of education, in the name of students. Today or yesterday, what happened, the riot-like situation has caused one of the schools in central Delhi to even shut down. So that is the impact of this violence, and it is questionable that who can actually justify this violence, who can actually defend what has happened last evening, yesterday afternoon, in the name of need, an issue that is only being dragged. We've seen what is happening inside the parliament, adjournments after adjournments. We are hoping that today there will be some business happening in the house. But what happened outside is also something that is questionable, and police is looking at it being, could possibly part of a larger conspiracy.
Definitely, Rakshita. In fact, all those details matter a lot more than, what was thought of yesterday. We saw the kind of visuals that came in from outside the parliament where exactly you're standing. We'll come back to you, Rakshita. But for now, viewers, shifting focus to another breaking development. development that's also coming in from the national capital. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is currently chairing an NDA parliamentary party meeting referred to as the Mangal Milan at the Parliament House ahead of the second day of the monsoon session that kicks off at 11 a.m. in both the houses, the Rajya Sabha and the Lok Sabha. They were adjourned about 6 times yesterday over the opposition's ruckus that was created, over the disruptions that were created by the opposition. Now, this Mangal Milan meeting of the NDA is focused on alliance unity, flow coordination and government strategy to counter the opposition's disruptions in both the houses. Remember, yesterday Rajya Sabha had to be adjourned for an entire day after at least 6 adjournments came back to back over the opposition's ruckus. Now, the NDA parliamentary meeting, it's holding its first meeting under the new name Mangal Milan, and this is happening at the parliament, and this aims to strengthen the coordination during the monsoon session and comes just hours ahead of the second day of the monsoon session that kicks off at 11 a.m. today. Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed all the MPs from all the NDA constituencies as part of the meeting that remains underway on the floor of the parliament in the national capital. In fact, this first gathering has been adopted under the name of Mangal Milan. Now, in fact, shifting focus and tracking other breaking developments, Union Minister JP Nadda has issued his first response on the meeting with the CJP. Union Minister JP Nadda, when he arrived for the NDA parliamentary party meeting, said the meeting with CJP went fine. Remember, yesterday a request was raised by the CJP to meet a union minister from the cabinet, and JP Nadda was the minister in question who in fact went to speak to the CJP spokesperson and also the founders of the party over their demands. Despite that, a violent protest took over the streets of the national capital, choking roads, stalling public transport and metro stations, and of course turning violent. 118 police personnel were injured, and now JP Nadda has given his first response on the meeting with CJP spokespersons yesterday. That's Saurav Das and Ashutosh Ranika with JP Nadda. He in fact says that the meeting went fine between the CJP spokespersons and JP Nadda. In fact, let's also listen in to JP Nadda, who spoke about the minutes of the meeting at the NDA parliamentary meet today.
सर CJP से मुलाकात कैसी रही आपकी? कुछ एश्योरेंस सर? सर CJP से मुलाकात कैसी रही आपकी? कुछ एश्योरेंस सर?
In fact, that's Union Minister JP Nadda. He was questioned by the media for how the meeting went between JP Nadda, who's of course representing the government of India, and Saurav Das and Ashutosh Ranika, the two spokespersons of the CJP. And his response is that the meeting went fine. In fact, he's refrained from giving out any further details about the meeting. But this meeting happened yesterday, and even then, violence ensued on the streets of the national capital. In fact, that's all for this edition of Live and Breaking on Republic TV. But don't go anywhere. On the other side, the Parliament is going to resume today for a second day of the monsoon session. This happens at 11 a.m. after both the houses were adjourned more than 6 times on the first day. That was yesterday.
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है? अरे मेरी राजा।
I wake up wearing someone else again, skin tight like porcelain. I don't recognize these eyes, something scratching from inside. Don't let it slip, I'm losing control. I don't wanna be safe anymore. Underneath there's a fire they can't keep. No more faces.
Finding myself. That's my moment of Sarah.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ।
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े। चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
Welcome back. Thanks very much for staying with us. And now the monsoon session of the Parliament opens with the NDA armed with a supermajority and a packed agenda of high-impact reform bills. From constitutional changes on delimitation and women's reservation to big-ticket legislation on foreign funding, higher education, corporate law, securities, market code and increasing the number of Supreme Court judges. Now, with the government's numbers in the Lok Sabha now comfortably above the key threshold, the floor strategy has been finalized, and that is that this parliament is going to be remembered for a mega reform push. Or will opposition disruption over NEET, the Ram Temple controversy, inflation and other flashpoints turn it into another battleground session? Can the opposition still block or dilute the bills despite NDA's strength? And what does this number game mean for India's political and institutional future? Watch Republic's editor-in-chief Arnab Goswami put the supermajority, the reform agenda and the opposition's plan under a scanner. Listen in.
And ladies and gentlemen, tonight this nation wants to know that this chaos and this ruckus that is being caused on the floor of the House, what is the reason behind it? The reason is very simple. This violence you saw today, which is being organized by the Congress proxy CJP, this violence which is being supported by the Congress, supported by the left parties, supported by the Tukre gang. Why is there so much violence? Why have 50 policemen been attacked brutally, including 5 IPS officers? Why have they been left bleeding? Why has the CJP resorted to all-out, brutal and bloody violence? The reason is because the NDA is closing in on the 2/3 mark. It's as simple as that. Look at the numbers of the NDA as of today, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we broke the news earlier that the BJP 239, NDA 299, now with the TMC group, and now with the NCP Sharad Pawar, right, and the other parties joining in, they are at 349, ladies and gentlemen, 349. The reason for this bloody violence at Jantar Mantar is because there are people who've realized that with these kind of numbers, you cannot bring down the elected government politically. You don't believe in parliamentary proceedings. You don't believe in democracy. You believe in anarchy. You do not have the numbers. The people of India have rejected you. You do not therefore have the floor strength. And hence you bring it down to violence on the streets. Ladies and gentlemen, since 2014, the Congress had understood it has consecutively lost badly 3 Lok Sabha elections. So what do instead? They create violence. They instigate the CJP. They watch from the sidelines. They do everything they can to support them. Because the numbers that there are as of today, the only way to bring down this government for Rahul Gandhi is through violence. And they've been suggesting this very often. Log sadak pe aa jayenge kind of logic. Log sadak pe nahi aaye. They have brought a few paid gundas to attack a few policemen. But a country of 140 crore people is much stronger than this, ladies and gentlemen. They are not going to fall apart. Now, what's happening in the India alliance? The NCP has split. There is an inevitable rebellion within the TMC. The DMK has shifted its position towards the NDA. The Congress's own allies, the AAP, the DMK, have even refused to go into the same room as them for the same meeting. And therefore, what Rahul Gandhi and the others have decided is that it's a wonderful opportunity to create chaos within Parliament, to stop the 2/3 majority from pushing the women's bill and the delimitation bill, and hence you have to have naked violence by their proxies, the CJP, Sonam Wangchuk and this Abhijit Dipke character outside. Ladies and gentlemen, where is Rahul Gandhi? For the last 20-25 days missing. I will not comment on the recent videos of his which have come out, but Rahul Gandhi must know that he cannot bring down an elected government because he keeps losing elections. And ladies and gentlemen, let me please play for you with my compliments what Rahul Gandhi had said about people like Sonam Wangchuk earlier. By the way, the Congress party had themselves warned about Sonam Wangchuk and his anti-national intentions in the past. But in 2011, when Anna Hazare was on hunger strike, Rahul Gandhi said, this is a horrible thing to try and have a hunger strike to put pressure on an elected government. He said, this is a process which is divorced from the machinery of an elected government. It seeks to undo checks and balances within our parliamentary democracy. Tomorrow they may attack our democracy itself. And today, Rahul Gandhi, the political loser, has done a 180-degree flip on what he said earlier. Please listen to this clip from beginning to end.
A process divorced from the machinery of an elected government that seeks to undo the checks and balances created to protect the supremacy of Parliament of this House sets a dangerous precedent for our democracy. Today the proposed law is against corruption. Tomorrow the target may be something less universally heralded. It may attack the plurality of our society and our democracy.
15 years have passed and the nation wants to know from Rahul Gandhi, does he still believe in that? Or does that warning apply only when it's Anna Hazare on the street and not when it's their very own Sonam Wangchuk, son of a former Congress leader, the entitled son, Sonam Wangchuk, the entitled son of a former Congress cabinet minister in Jammu and Kashmir? Ladies and gentlemen, or is it when they're all Congress, that they're all happy and one part of one happy coexistence? Viewers, be very careful at this point of time. It is time for us to be very cautious. We have to be cautious about people like Sonam Wangchuk and Abhijit Dipke and all these people who are being propped up. The real battle is inside Parliament. If the opposition wants to fight democratically, it must fight through numbers, reason and debate inside Parliament. This kind of lumpenism that it is doing in the name of a protest has to stop. No more gundas. Let there be real politics, numbers and debate inside Parliament. Let the gundaism at Jantar Mantar stop decisively now.
And that's all for this edition. Thanks very much for staying with us. On the other side, both the houses of the Parliament will resume today for a second day of the monsoon session at 11 a.m. after being adjourned at least 6 times back-to-back yesterday on the first day.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार विमल बोलो जुबान केसरी
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला डिलीशियस हेल्दी एवरीडे
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ।
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ स्वाद आया?
आया। असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
We cannot say that we will see relief for sure, but yes, definitely messages are being exchanged between Iran and the United States, and both of them have confirmed. Messages are being exchanged and both sides are looking or examining the messages which they are receiving. Marco Rubio has also indicated that, and similarly the Iranian Foreign Ministry has indicated that. As of now, America is definitely hammering.
Delhi police registered 3 FIR in violence by CJP protesters. Sections of BNS invoked for rioting, vandalism and obstructing government officials from discharging their duties. Delhi police reveal 118 police personnel sustained severe injuries, including several women police officers. 15 to 20 government vehicles were vandalized during the violence. Delhi police filed a third FIR in connection with the CJP violence. CCTV footage, drone visuals are being examined by the police. K&A parliamentary meet underway in New Delhi ahead of the day 2 of monsoon session. Parliament to resume today at 11 a.m. after both the houses were adjourned more than 6 times on the first day of monsoon session. Massive landslides in Sikkim kill at least 8 people, 27 workers also trapped under construction tunnel. Rescue operations continue at the site. Hello and welcome viewers, you're watching Live and Breaking on Republic TV with me, Ishita Mitra. Today is day 2 of the Parliament's monsoon session and both the houses, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, will convene at 11 a.m. today. Now, Union Minister Amit Shah, in fact, will table a very crucial bill on Vande Mataram in the upper house of the Parliament, Rajya Sabha, while in Lok Sabha, will in fact take up the bill on Supreme Court judges on the day 2 of this session. Now, remember, the bill, in fact, was introduced yesterday, but today all the proceedings which are pending from day 1 will in fact be taken up in both the houses of the Parliament. Home Minister Amit Shah was set to table the crucial bill on Vande Mataram yesterday, but due to the chaos and repeated adjournments, it could not be tabled today. It could not be tabled yesterday, so today in fact it will be tabled by the Home Minister. Now viewers, this comes in as the day 1 of the monsoon session was completely stormy. We had repeated adjournments coming in both the houses of the Parliament. Total 7 in Lok Sabha, while 6 came in Rajya Sabha as well. My colleague Rakshita, in fact, has been very closely tracking all the parliamentary proceedings. She's right there outside the Parliament at Vijay Chowk. Rakshita, coming to you now. Tell us, what are we looking forward to on day 2 of the Parliament session? Because yesterday was clearly just a show of repeated adjournments.
Absolutely. Disruptions after disruptions is what was witnessed inside the Parliament on the day 1. And of course, we saw what happened outside the Parliament onto the streets. But today, yes, it is another day and the government is hoping, the ND is hoping that it will be able to table the intended bills. That includes the bill on Vande Mataram, as you mentioned. The Home Minister was supposed to do that yesterday, but because of the disruptions and adjournments could not happen in the Rajya Sabha, we expect that the Home Minister in half an hour from now will be tabling that bill. Now that bill is something that it will be interesting to see the reactions that come in within the Parliament on that. Why? Because we've seen in the past, even during the discussion on Vande Mataram, there has been opposition has been opposing certain stanzas, has been raising questions on the new directions that have been coming in from the Home Ministry also on Vande Mataram. With this bill, the government is intending to give the same protection to the national song that is given to the national anthem and the national flag. And it, of course,
all right, in fact, we are facing some technical problem there right now. We'll connect with our colleague Rakshita again. But viewers, right now we're getting some visuals coming to light, fresh visuals clearly showing how this one protester was threatening a police officer yesterday at the protest site. Now, in fact, Republic flagged through visuals yesterday that stones were pelted, police officials were attacked, and violence at large was unleashed on Delhi police officials by the protesters at the CJP protest. And today, another fresh visual has come in from the protest site yesterday showing that how they were also threatening the police officers. Take a listen.
आ चुके हैं जंतर मंतर पर और मैंने ईंट उठा ली, जिसने भी मुझे रोकने की कोशिश करी। ये नोक वाली साइड से कसम से कह रहा हूँ भाई, सिर दिख नहीं रही है, अब दिख रही है। हाँ मेरा भाई, ईंट ही लगेगी, सच बता रहा हूँ मैं। और बाकी बंदे मैंने अपने उधर से बुला लिए हैं। भाई हमें रोकने की कोशिश मत करना, क्योंकि मौली जागरे से हूँ। हाँ, चंडीगढ़ मौली जागरे से, पहले बता रहा हूँ। कोई भी अगर रोकेगा, अगर किसी ने भी रोकने की कोशिश करी। फाइनली दोस्तों, हम आ चुके हैं जंतर मंतर पर और मैंने ईंट उठा
किया है और कई देशों के साथ फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट किए हैं, उसका भी प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जानकारी दिया। फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट कई देशों के साथ भारत ने किया है, उस पर आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा है जितना भी फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट हुए हैं उसमें किसानों को लेकर के, किसानों का इंटरेस्ट, उसको प्राथमिकता देते हुए कोई नुकसान होने नहीं देंगे। किसी भी देश के साथ, किसी भी गुट के साथ फ्री ट्रेड एग्रीमेंट हुए हैं उसमें किसानों का हित को सबसे सर्वोच्च ध्यान दिया जाएगा और दिया गया है, इसलिए ये किसानों के हित में और देश हित में रहेगा। नीट के एग्जाम के बारे में आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा है कि जब पेपर लीक का खबर आए तुरंत सरकार ने कार्रवाई किया और 13 लोगों को अरेस्ट करके जेल में डाल दिया गया है और साथ साथ जो छात्र हैं, स्टूडेंट्स हैं, उनका भविष्य को नुकसान ना हो इसलिए री एग्जामिनेशन नीट का प्राथमिकता दिया गया और री एग्जामिनेशन को सक्सेसफुली, सफलतापूर्वक कंडक्ट किया गया और उसका रिजल्ट निकालने में कोई विलंब नहीं किया। तो दोबारा इस तरह का पेपर लीक ना हो इसके लिए सख्ती से कदम जो उठाया गया है, जिन्होंने पेपर लीक धंधे में जो लिप्त है, जो लोग दोषी पाए गए हैं, जिसको अरेस्ट किया गया है, उसको जेल में डाल करके प्रधानमंत्री जी ने ये अपील भी किया है कि उनका जो सजा है उसको सख्ती से सख्ती सजा कैसे दिया जाए उसमें सारा टॉप क्लास के वकील लोग भी साथ दें ताकि जो पेपर लीक जैसे पाप काम किया है उन लोगों को घोर सख्त सजा मिले और आगे पेपर लीक नहीं होने के लिए सख्ती से जो कदम उठाया गया है उसके बारे में भी प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जानकारी दिया। और प्रधानमंत्री जी ने ये भी कहा कि पेपर लीक सिर्फ एक राज्य का मामला नहीं है, सिर्फ केंद्र सरकार का मामला नहीं, पूरा देश का हर एक राज्य में जहां जहां पेपर लीक करने में जो लोग लिप्त हैं, जो लोग इस धंधे में इन्वॉल्व है, जिन्होंने काम इस तरह का घिनौना किया है, पाप काम किया है, उनको सजा देने के लिए सब एकजुट होना चाहिए। ये कोई दलगत राजनीति का विषय नहीं है, ये देश का विषय है और युवाओं का भविष्य के साथ कोई खिलवाड़ नहीं होने के लिए और खिलवाड़ नहीं करने देने के लिए सख्ती से कदम भी उठाए, सजा भी दे दोषियों को और फिर फुल प्रूफ सिस्टम काम जो अभी कर रहे हैं उसमें भी सब मिल करके करें, इसको प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बल दिया है। और साथ में अभी जो सत्र जो मानसून सत्र चल रहे हैं उसमें पूरा एनडीए सकारात्मक भूमिका निभाएंगे। हम देश के लिए जो भी बिल्स बिजनेस लेके आए हैं इसके लिए पूरा एनडीए एकजुट होकर के हम इसको पारित कराएंगे और हम विपक्ष के साथियों से भी हम अनुरोध करते हैं कि हम मतभेद हो सकते हैं अलग अलग पार्टियों का, लेकिन संसद देश के लिए, देश का भविष्य के लिए, युवाओं के लिए काम करे और इसके लिए हम संसद के सदस्य चुन के आए हैं, सब मिलकर के काम करें, इसमें बल दिया है। धन्यवाद। Prime Minister had stated very clearly that all those who were involved in paper leaks, in the recent NEET paper leaks, are arrested. 13 of them are put into jail, and Prime Minister desires that these people should be given most stringent possible punishment. And also Prime Minister stressed that to prevent any future leaks for any examination for any state, we must come together to ensure that no matter these people, this gang, these people who are involved in paper leaks, they should be not only punished, but future leaks should be prevented by all stakeholders coming together for the sake of the youth of our country. The safety, security and for the future prospect of our youth are our priority. So Prime Minister Modi ji has stressed that the youth of the country will not only be given full assurance for prevention of future paper leaks, but also to show them ways so that the youth of India can take a leadership role in the world. Prime Minister also mentioned about the success of the Sky Route And this is a phenomenon in India. The youth of India are making tremendous success in different fields. So we will devote our time and energy and focus for the youth and for their future.
सर, जो कल मांग की गई थी प्रदर्शनकारियों की ओर से, क्या उस पर सरकार
वो अलग विषय है. यहाँ संसदीय जो दल का मीटिंग है उसमें तो प्राइम मिनिस्टर का संदेश ही था.
थैंक यू सर.
All right, that was Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiren Rijiju briefing media right after the NDA meet. And now he talked about the kind of issues which were discussed and the kind of issues that Prime Minister briefed NDA leaders about. And the two top issues was NEET paper leak as well as the FTAs which have been assigned with the countries recently. So Kiren Rijiju clearly mentioned that Prime Minister Modi ensured that strict action was taken against those accused in the paper leak, and system was strengthened to ensure that future leaks do not happen. My colleague, in fact, Rakshita, continues to track all the developments with us. Rakshita, take us through the briefing that just came in from Kiren Rijiju. He detailed about the kind of issues that were taken up at the NDA meet, NEET, paper leak, and of course the recent FTAs being among them.
Absolutely. The Parliamentary Affairs Minister just ahead of the session was revealing the details of what transpired, what happened in the Mangal Milan, and it was something that everybody was looking forward to, as to it was expected that the Prime Minister will be speaking on this situation, and he has assured, as per what Kiren Rijiju has said and quoted the Prime Minister as saying, that the future leaks should be prevented and all stakeholders must come together, hailing the youth of the country, and that they should be showing the way forward to the country. They should be the future leaders. And Kiren Rijiju has also spoken about the actions that have been taken, the steps that have been taken by the government as far as the crackdown on the NEET or the paper leak mafia is concerned, right from the arrest to ensuring that the re-NEET is conducted, without any kind of leak, that there is no glitch. And that is exactly what had happened. We've seen that the re-NEET examination was successful, and we've seen that how the measures were taken to ensure that that is completely secure, right from deploying the Air Force for the papers, to transport the papers, to using AI, to using technology for heightened surveillance, even using jammers around examination centers, so that none of the papers are leaked using the dark web. Also, we've also investigated on how this entire mafia was functioning, and the government has taken steps in that direction, not to, of course, be complacent, and any competitive examination should be leak-proof. That is the agenda, and that is the aim of the government, is what has been emphasized by Kiren Rijiju, the Parliamentary Affairs Minister, right now. As per the Prime Minister, of course, what is happening outside on the streets is something that the government has refrained from commenting on. But of course, the violence has happened from the journalists to also those who are the police personnel. They have been attacked. That can be condemned, that could have been condemned, but there has been no word on condemnation yet from the government. But nevertheless, the Prime Minister in this meeting has, as per Kiren Rijiju, assured that there should be all measures taken to ensure that the students' future is secure, that every step is taken to crack down against those elements who are trying to derail the education system. Now, Ishita, it's important, the statement coming in at a time when, in the name of NEET, these protests have turned violent, and we've seen how the CJP workers and those backers have hijacked it into what they intend it to make, that is bloodied violence and riot-like situation. We are in fact getting more and more videos every hour that shows that how it was a planned conspiracy, that there were stones that were being shown in the videos by these miscreants, and they intended to hurl it against the security forces, and there have been more than 118 who are injured today, and many of them are still in the hospital, which is a proof, of course, a matter of investigation, and the legalities continue, but that shows that it was all a pre-planned conspiracy. The government, of course, right now has assured that there will be no, that there will be, the future examinations will be secure, but remains to be seen what happens on day 2 of the monsoon session, because remember that the Congress party yesterday had moved a motion in the parliament to discuss the NEET issue. Today also we see Sanjay Singh, right from the issue of Ram Mandir theft to the issue of NEET and what happened outside on the streets. Everything is what the opposition is demanding to be discussed today, and disruptions happened yesterday. Let's see what happens today.
We are hoping that, the session today is productive in both the houses of the parliament, and right ahead of it, big message coming in from Prime Minister, who says that the re-NEET examination ensured welfare for students, and it was in fact successful one, and now the system has been strengthened to ensure that such leaks do not take place. Now viewers, while this is a message coming in on day 2 of the monsoon session by Prime Minister, what happened yesterday was very concerning and unfortunate. There was a protest which were held for NEET students. It turned violent, and now we have visuals coming in. One of the protesters clearly threatening a police officials in that very video. Let's take a look.
फाइनली दोस्तों हम आ चुके हैं जंतर मंतर पर, और मैंने ईंट उठा ली। जिसने भी मुझे रोकने की कोशिश करी, ये नोक वाली साइड से कसम से कह रहा हूँ भाई, सिर दिख नहीं रही है। अब दिख रही है? हाँ मेरा भाई, ईंट ही लगेगी, सच बता रहा हूँ मैं। और बाकी बंदे मैंने अपने उधर से बुला लिए हैं। भाई हमें रोकने की कोशिश मत करना, क्योंकि मौली जागरे से हूँ। हाँ, चंडीगढ़ मौली जागरे से, पहले बता रहा हूँ। कोई भी अगर रोकेगा, अगर किसी ने भी रोकने की कोशिश करी। फाइनली दोस्तों हम आ चुके हैं जंतर मंतर पर, और मैंने ईंट उठा ली। जिसने भी मुझे रोकने की कोशिश करी, ये नोक वाली साइड से कसम से कह रहा हूँ भाई, सिर दिख नहीं रही है? अब दिख रही है? हाँ मेरा भाई, ईंट ही लगेगी, सच बता रहा हूँ मैं। और बाकी बंदे मैंने अपने उधर से बुला लिए हैं। भाई हमें रोकने की कोशिश मत करना, क्योंकि मौली जागरे से हूँ। हाँ, चंडीगढ़ मौली जागरे से, पहले बता रहा हूँ। कोई भी अगर रोकेगा, अगर किसी ने भी रोकने की कोशिश करी। फाइनली दोस्तों हम आ चुके हैं जंतर मंतर पर, और मैंने ईंट उठा ली। जिसने भी मुझे रोकने की कोशिश करी, ये नोक
All right, in fact, my colleague Rakshita continues to stay with me on this as well. Rakshita, this is a video which has emerged today of a protester who was clearly seen threatening a police officials. He mentions that he has a brick in his hand, and if anyone tries to stop me, he will be using that against police officials, while also saying that he has mobilized his own people. So clearly hinting that this was a pre-planned violence, not something that erupted spontaneously at the protest site.
This is exactly the material that the agencies, the Delhi police is going to examine, is examining. In fact, as we speak, what we understand, more than 250 such videos are being examined from the site of protest, and these are open threats. These are open threats that are being issued by these anti-social elements. Of course, there have been questions, were there even students? They don't even look like students, or even if there were students, nobody would be having the right to unleash violence. These are open threats against those who were doing their duty of maintaining law and order. That is the security personnel. That is the paramilitary force. And these stones that were being used, these bricks that were being used, is not just one video. There are many such samples where you can see that there has been a coordinated effort. When this person says that "Bande bula lenge," that means that he is trying to gather as many people. This is mob mentality. This is mob violence, which is alarming. And that is what is being investigated, that if it is a part of a larger conspiracy, because this is not just one video or just one individual, and not just one incident of violence. This has happened across different parts of central Delhi just yesterday, just few meters and kilometers away from where I'm standing right now. So there have been at least 5 FIRs that have been registered, and more to come is what we are told as per the sources, because more and more videographic evidence and electronic evidence, because how has this mobilization happened at this scale is a matter of investigation. Also, who is behind this, who is fueling this, is also a matter of investigation.
All right, in fact, so those are the points which are being investigated by Delhi police at the moment, and clearly this does not sound like a distressed students who want changes in the education system. This sounds like somebody who's part of the Anarchy gang, and this is what we have been flagging on Republic TV as well. In fact, let's take you through what the statement has come in from Prime Minister Modi at the NDA meet. He talked about the NEET issue. He said that, the system has now been strengthened to ensure that future leaks do not happen. He also mentioned that students' welfare was kept at the center of the re-examination that took place, while saying that efforts are underway to ensure that such leaks do not happen. He mentioned that about 13 arrests have been made. All the accused which were part of this NEET scandal were in fact arrested, and now going on to mention that such paper leaks will not happen in the future. That's a big statement coming in from Prime Minister Modi, and in fact it was Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju who gave us details about Prime Minister Modi's message that was delivered at the NDA meet. Let's take a listen.
नीट के एग्जाम के बारे में आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा है कि जब पेपर लीक का खबर आए तुरंत सरकार ने कार्रवाई किया और 13 लोगों को अरेस्ट करके जेल में डाल दिया गया है और साथ साथ जो छात्र हैं, स्टूडेंट्स हैं, उनका भविष्य को नुकसान ना हो इसलिए री एग्जामिनेशन नीट का प्राथमिकता दिया गया और री एग्जामिनेशन को सक्सेसफुली, सफलतापूर्वक कंडक्ट किया गया और उसका रिजल्ट निकालने में कोई विलंब नहीं किया। तो दोबारा इस तरह का पेपर लीक ना हो इसके लिए सख्ती से कदम जो उठाया गया है, जिन्होंने पेपर लीक धंधे में जो लिप्त है, जो लोग दोषी पाए गए हैं, जिसको अरेस्ट किया गया है, उसको जेल में डाल करके प्रधानमंत्री जी ने ये अपील भी किया है कि उनका जो सजा है उसको सख्ती से सख्ती सजा कैसे दिया जाए, उसमें सारा टॉप क्लास के वकील लोग भी साथ दें ताकि जो पेपर लीक जैसे पाप काम किया है उन लोगों को घोर सख्त सजा मिले और आगे पेपर लीक नहीं होने के लिए सख्ती से जो कदम उठाया गया है उसके बारे में भी प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जानकारी दिया। और प्रधानमंत्री जी ने यह भी कहा कि पेपर लीक सिर्फ एक राज्य का मामला नहीं है, सिर्फ केंद्र सरकार का मामला नहीं, पूरा देश का हर एक राज्य में जहां जहां पेपर लीक करने में जो लोग लिप्त हैं, जो लोग इस धंधे में इन्वॉल्व है, जिन्होंने काम इस तरह का घिनौना किया है, पाप काम किया है, उनको सजा देने के लिए सब एकजुट होना चाहिए। ये कोई दलगत राजनीति का विषय नहीं है, ये देश का विषय है और युवाओं का भविष्य के साथ कोई खिलवाड़ नहीं होने के लिए और खिलवाड़ नहीं करने देने के लिए सख्ती से कदम भी उठाए, सजा भी दे दोषियों को और फिर फुल प्रूफ सिस्टम काम जो अभी कर रहे हैं उसमें भी सब मिल करके करें, इसको प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बल दिया है।
Now, viewers, in fact, Republic also spoke to RAF Commandant Sonia Sehrawat, who was leading the RAF team at Jantar Mantar protests yesterday. She was injured during the CJP protest, which also injured about 118 police officials at the site, while 15 to 20 government vehicles were also damaged in this violence. So we'll take a listen to this exclusive conversation with RAF Commandant, who gives us details on the kind of violence that was unleashed by the protesters at Jantar Mantar yesterday. Take a listen.
तो मैम क्या उनकी तरफ से पथराव भी किया गया कुछ आपको?
बिल्कुल 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 सर, अच्छे से वो वेल प्रिपेयर्ड थे सर। हम उस चीज से हम तो ये सोच के गए थे कि स्टूडेंट प्रोटेस्ट, लेकिन ऐसा कुछ नहीं था। उसमें हद है कि जो है तत्व मौजूद थे, आप उसे कुछ भी समझ लीजिए किस तरह के तत्व थे, परजीवी थे, कहाँ से वहाँ पर जुड़े थे, या तो मुझे नहीं पता कि जो उनके आका थे, ऑर्गेनाइजर्स थे, उनको इस चीज की जानकारी थी या नहीं थी, लेकिन उसको पीसफुल ना हो वो या फिर पीसफुल के नाम पे उन्होंने हर तरह की वहाँ पर भीड़ जुटा रखी थी, तो पुलिस से भिड़ने के लिए अच्छे से तैयार थी।
स्टूडेंट्स नहीं थे, लेकिन
मेंटली, फिजिकली, साइकोलॉजी अच्छे से तैयार थे सर। वो
स्टूडेंट्स नहीं थे,
पैच भी थे। मुझे स्टूडेंट हर एज का था, पता नहीं, मैंने एक अच्छे खासा अधेड़ उम्र, कोई अपने आप को जर्नलिस्ट बता रहा था, कोई अपने आप को यूट्यूबर बता रहा था, कोई अपने आप को जो है किसी एनजीओ का मेंबर बता रहा था, कोई कुछ कोई कह रहा हम पार्टी के समर्थक हैं, कोई कह रहा था हम फलानी जो है संगठन से आए हैं जी। बहुत सारे अलग अलग लोग थे।
मैम वहाँ से क्या जूते वगैरह भी फेंके गए, कुछ बॉटल्स भी आप लोगों के ऊपर फेंकी गई?
टारगेट करके बियर की बोतल्स, वो मेरे जवानों ने मुझे शाम को डीब्रीफिंग में बताया कि बोतल्स भी थी उसमें, कांच के टुकड़े भी थे। हमने बचाया भी है लोगों को, ऐसा नहीं है, कांच के टुकड़े पब्लिक को ना लग जाए उसके लिए हमने इकट्ठे भी किए। कुछ लोग वहाँ पे सफोकेट हो गए थे, डिहाइड्रेट हो गए थे, पानी भी पिलाया जितना हमसे हुआ। और वो मतलब जितना बोल सकते थे, तुम गुंडे हो, तुम दल्ले हो, तुम बिक गए हो, तुम देशद्रोही हो, तुम्हारे घर में रोटी नहीं है, लो पैसे ले लो हमसे, इतनी भी क्या गद्दारी है देश से, हम लोगों को मारोगे, मारो गोली, हम आतंकवादी है। मैंने कहा हमने तो आपको गोली नहीं मारा ना, हम आपसे कोई एक्शन लेंगे, लेकिन अगर आप अनियंत्रित और मौत का रूप लेंगे, अगर आप मजमा बन जाएंगे और दिशाहीन होकर आप दिल्ली की सड़कों पे नाचेंगे और पूरे पब्लिक को जो है लैंड ऑर्डर को जो आप ब्रीच कर देंगे तो हमें एक्शन लेना पड़ेगा। ये बार बार उनको वार्निंग दी जा रही थी पुलिस की तरफ से भी, एसीपी भी सर थे वहाँ पे, डीसीपी भी थे और बाकी पुलिस फोर्स तैनात थी, आरएफ फोर्स तैनात थी। ये लेकिन वो लोग मानने को तैयार नहीं थे।
अब्यूजिव लैंग्वेज का इस्तेमाल कर रहे थे मैम वो लोग,
वो अब्यूजिव लैंग्वेज नेताओं के लिए यूज कर रहे थे, पर्टिकुलर पार्टीज को लेकर यूज कर रहे थे और हम लोगों को वो अच्छे तरीके से गलत शब्दों का इस्तेमाल करके हमें प्रोवोक कर रहे थे। तुम दल्ले हो, तुम गंदे, तुम गुंडे हो
जी,
तुम बदमाश हो, तुम वर्दी के फेस में नकली लोग हो, तुम फेक लोग हो, तुम बिक गए हो, तुम्हें अपनी ड्यूटी नहीं पता, तुम रेपिस्ट को प्रोटेक्ट करते हो, इतना ही दम है तो बॉर्डर पे ये कर दो वो कर दो, इस टाइप की मतलब इनसेंसिटिव बातें और मतलब एंटी नेशनल बातें मैं मानूंगी, क्योंकि हम लोग वहाँ पर सब यूनिफॉर्म में खड़े थे और हमारे डिग्निटी पे हमारी जो है सेवा जो है हमारी मोटो है, उस पर आप सवाल उठाएंगे तो ये तो नहीं बर्दाश्त होगा।
मैम आपकी
आरोप लगाए कि आपने लड़कियों पे जो है लाठी चार्ज किया, हमने किसी लड़की को ऐसे नहीं मारा है। हमारी फीमेल कांस्टेबल थी जिन्होंने उनको पीछे खदेड़ने के लिए एक्शन किया।
बिल्कुल
मेल ने किसी ने नहीं मारा है और अगर स्टैम्पेड में उनको चोट लगी है, मैं लड़कों को रिक्वेस्ट कर रही हूँ उनके आगे खड़ी होगी, मैं अपने जवानों के सामने खुद खड़ी हुई थी कि किसी भी लड़की को चोट नहीं लगनी चाहिए, बहुत होश में रहेगी, आप पीछे करिए इनको, जो भी खदेड़ना लाठी से पीछे खदेड़ना है आप इनको डराइए, थोड़ा पीछे करिए इनको थोड़ा सा, ताकि अपने आगे बढ़ने के लिए जो है जो डिफेंस लाइन है उसको क्रॉस ना करें, इनको पीछे कर दो।
मैम आपकी बटालियन से कितने लोग इंजर्ड हुए?
8 लोग तो सर इंजर्ड हैं जिनका एमएलसी नोट हुआ है, उसके बाद छोटी मोटी चोटें लगभग सभी को आई है।
आपको भी फ्रैक्चर आया मैम?
हाँ बिल्कुल सर, मुझे भी फ्रैक्चर हुआ है। कोई नहीं सर, हम एक्शन में, मैं इस चीज को बहुत बड़ा विषय नहीं मानती
जी।
ड्यूटी के दौरान सर हम लोगों को हमारा तो इतिहास रहा है, हम गोली लगने के बाद भी जो है लड़ते हैं दुश्मन से और उस चीज का हम कोई विक्टिम कार्ड नहीं खेलते।
Alright, viewers, coming up on the other side, day 2 of monsoon session, Parliament to resume in a short while after both the houses were adjourned more than 6 times on the first day. All the updates lined up on the other side. Stay tuned.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच, लस्सी और छाछ।
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट, ड्राई फ्रूट और दही बड़े। चमकी चाट से स्वाद बढ़े।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील टीएमटी बार एकदम सॉलिड।
थोड़े में ज्यादा स्वाद, यही तो है इसकी खास बात। वाओ मामा, क्या स्वाद है। अरे मेरे राजा,
राजा और मसाला।
We cannot say that we will see relief for sure, but yes, definitely messages are being exchanged between Iran and the United States, and both of them have confirmed. Messages are being exchanged and both sides are looking or examining the messages which they are receiving. Marco Rubio has also indicated that, and similarly the Iranian Foreign Ministry has indicated that. As of now, America is definitely hammering Iran, especially the coastal areas and south of Iran, right? The ports, the civil infrastructure also, the bridges, the roads, the towers, the radar system towers and all, so that it can degrade the capabilities of the Iranian forces to impact and influence the Strait of Hormuz. However, whatsoever be the extent of American attacks, it seems Iran is retaliating back, and Iran is also succeeding a little bit, and which is enough for Iran. So every night, CENTCOM says that we've done X number of,
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. watching Republic.
Today is the leader of the opposition, Sriman Mallikarjun Khargeji's birthday. On behalf of the entire house and on my own behalf, I wish him a very long, healthy and happy life. Many happy returns of the day, Khargeji. I am sure his leadership will guide as an exemplary inspiration.
प्रश्न काल क्वेश्चन नंबर 21, क्वेश्चन नंबर 21 अब्दुल्ला सईद माननीय मंत्री महोदय सामने राजीव पटल पर है उमेश भाई पटेल उमेश भाई पटेल
माननीय अध्यक्ष महोदय, क्या माननीय मंत्री ये बताने की कृपा करेंगे कि दादरा नगर हवेली तथा दमन दीव की ग्राम पंचायतों, नगर परिषदों एवं नगर पालिका में वर्तमान में कितने एमटीएस सहित स्वच्छता कर्मी कार्यरत हैं? इनमें से कितने नियमित, संविदा, आउटसोर्स एवं दैनिक वेतनभोगी हैं? क्या 5 साल से अधिक समय से अनियमित पद पर काम करने वाले कर्मचारियों को फिक्स करने के लिए सरकार कोई नीति बना रही है? यदि हाँ तो क्या? नहीं तो क्यों नहीं? इसका विवरण सदन में
सहयोग करें। प्रश्नकाल के बाद आपको उचित नियम प्रक्रियाओं के तहत सभी मुद्दों पर चर्चा करने का अवसर दिया जाएगा। सदन की कार्रवाई आज 12 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।
Statement of the Department-related Parliamentary Standing Committee on Housing and Urban Affairs, Sriman Ram Rao Sagaram Bhatkudeji.
Sir, I rise to lay the final action taken the statement of the government on the recommendation and observation obtained in the chapter 1st and 5th of the 2nd report of the Lok Sabha Department-related Standing Committee on Housing and Urban Affairs on action taken by the government on the recommendation and observation contained in the 21st report, 17th Lok Sabha of the Committee of the Smart Cities Mission and elevation listed against my name in today's list of the business.
Sriman Jagat Prakash Nadda ji to move a motion for appointment of one member to the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Bhubaneswar.
Honorable Chairman, sir, I rise to move that in pursuance of Section 4, bracket G, read in Section 6, bracket 3 of All India Institute of Medical Sciences Act 1956, as amended by the All India Institutes of Medical Sciences Amendment Act 2012, this House do proceed to elect in such a manner as directed by the Chairman, one member from amongst the members of the House to be a member of the All India Institute of Medical Sciences, Bhubaneswar, in the vacancy caused due to the retirement of Srimati Mamta Mohanta from the membership of Rajya Sabha on 2nd April 2026, subject to the provision of the Act.
Motion moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Dr. L. Murugan to move a motion for appointment of 2 members to the Joint Committee on the Constitution, 129th Amendment Bill 2024 and the Union Territories Laws Amendment Bill 2024.
Respected Chairman, sir, with your kind permission, I rise to move the motion that this House concurs in the recommendation of the Lok Sabha that the Rajya Sabha do appoint 2 members of Rajya Sabha to the Joint Committee on the Constitution,
129th Amendment Bill 2024 and the Union Territories Law Amendment Bill 2024 in the vacancies caused by the retirement of Sri Saket Gogle and Sri Bhuvaneswar Kalita from the membership of the Rajya Sabha, and communicate to the Lok Sabha that the names of the members so appointed by the Rajya Sabha to the Joint Committee, and resolve that Sri Manmohan Samal and Srimati Sagarika Ghosh be appointed to the said Joint Committee to fill the vacancies.
Motion moved. Those in favor will please say aye. Those against will please say no. I think the ayes have it, the ayes have it, the ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Only 1 minute. Only 1 minute. I am coming to you. Please, 1 minute. I am coming to you. I have to inform members that the communication has been received from Srimati P.T. Usaji, member stating that she is unable to attend the sittings of the current 271st session of Rajya Sabha from 20th July to 4th August 2026, since she has been entrusted with the responsibility of leading Indian contingent to Glasgow to 2026 Commonwealth Games. Does she have the permission of the House for remaining absent from 20th July to 4th August 2026 during this current 271st session of Rajya Sabha? Permission to remain absent is granted. Yes, जी.
धन्यवाद सर, आपको मुझे 4 शब्द बोलने का मौका आपने बोलो, और क्या बोलना है लाठीचार्ज करके दिल्ली पर तो मौका आपने दिया। कल एक बहुत दुर्दैवी घटना हो गई और वो दुर्दैवी घटना में हमारे जो स्टूडेंट्स पेपर लीक और नीट एग्जामिनेशन के बारे में जो आवाज उठा रहे हैं उनके ऊपर लाठीचार्ज किए, टीयर गैस किए, उनको मारे हॉस्पिटल में सुनना चाहिए।
All right, viewers, now we're looking at more updates coming in as both the houses of the parliament have now been adjourned. We saw that there was constant heckling, constant disruption by the opposition side as soon as both the houses resumed today at 11 a.m. and it's only 11:08, and we're now looking at both the houses, Lok Sabha as well as Rajya Sabha, both adjourned at the moment. So those are the details of fetching on the parliamentary proceedings on day 2 of monsoon session, viewers. Lok Sabha has now been adjourned. And we're looking at this constant heckling, constant disruptions that were in fact coming in by the opposition side, and Rajya Sabha also adjourned at the moment. So both the houses currently stand adjourned as there was constant heckling, constant disruptions, constant uproar that was created by the opposition side as they even stormed down to the well in Lok Sabha. All right, in fact, my colleague Rakshita, who's out there to track all the parliamentary proceedings for us. Rakshita, it's a very similar to what unfolded on day 1. It's not even 11:10 and both the houses have again been adjourned.
Absolutely. Well, this is just setting the tone for what is in store for the rest of the day. It seems, unfortunately, while on the one hand we see that there's a picture that has come in which shows that Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi, who's the parliamentary party chairperson for the Congress, they met with the Speaker Om Birla regarding what happened in the national capital last evening, and now we have the Congress again raising the same issue in the floor of the assembly, and now there was heckling once again, and both the houses were adjourned. Yes, we've seen that for even yesterday on day 1, the demand was put out. Motions were being moved by the Congress for a discussion on NEET, for a discussion on the paper leak, and also on Dharmendra Pradhan, and so is happening today as well. And we see another disruption happening today while while there are multiple bills that are to be passed, but this seems to be like a chronology where we see there is disruption inside, there's disruption outside over an issue that has been resolved. At least for now, we see that re-NEET has happened, re-examination has taken place. The Prime Minister in the Mangal Milan just a while back, just ahead of the session, has also ensured that there should be all measures taken to to ensure that there are no leaks for any competitive examination. That's what the Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju has said. And in fact, sources tell us that the Prime Minister has told the party, told NDA that all efforts should be made to have the youth continue to have the trust of the youth, and they should be the future. They are the future leaders, and their future is supposed to be secure. It needs to be secure. All assurances have been made, but the Congress party and the other opposition parties clearly are hell bent on the agenda, and disruption playbook is once again that we see on day 2.
Right. In fact, Rakshita, it looks like that, a NEET issue is something that will be, dominating at this session of Parliament, because both outside and inside opposition continues to rake up this issue, which seems like it is done and dusted. And even yesterday, ahead of the session, Parliament, Prime Minister Modi delivered an address which was specifically catered to the Indian youth. And even today at the NDA meet, he mentioned that, all measures are being taken to ensure that students' future is not harmed in any way. So also sending a message that these students should not be used as political tools, but because it looks like that they are being used as political tools.
Absolutely. In fact, as we speak, there are visuals coming in from from inside the Parliament complex as this has been the House has been adjourned. Both houses have been adjourned. We have the MPs like Sanjay Singh also coming out with other MPs who are raising slogans. So, is this the playbook? Is this by design that is happening? Is this a method to delay because the NDA is moving towards a super majority and was trying to put that to test in this monsoon session? It has been attempting for a second straight day, but is the opposition now trying to just obstruct all the proceedings as it has done in the past as well? Now with the NDA having a comfortable majority is what we actually see for right now. If we see the number games, and Republic TV has been updating our viewers on that, keeping our viewers on top of the numbers game. It seems that the opposition, especially if we see the Congress party, which is unable to keep its own house in order, unable to keep the Indie alliance in order, is now so desperate to maybe stop the NDA juggernaut in the Parliament in both houses that it is now resorting once again to the method of disruption and not debating at all, wasting the time, because every session has a particular time, viewers, and this is what has been happening for many sessions now. Today is not a new story. Once again, we see there are disruptions, protests that have happened outside. There is no condemnation of violence, not a single word of condemnation from any of the opposition leaders as to the bloodied violence that was witnessed, as to those miscreants you see, those rioters who are on camera talking about how they are going to call in people and pelt stones on the security forces. No, not a word on what Renuka Chaudhary said, where she called for a kranti, where she's calling for the gates of the Parliament to be opened, and that that miscreants can come and storm inside the Parliament, and when they say Nepal ki tarah Parliament ukhad denge, this is what the Congress is backing? That is the big question, and this is now the method, that is the entire plot that is in fact being witnessed unfolding today once again, as both houses are now adjourned due to the disruption and dragging of the NEET issue.
Right, so it looks like that even if both the houses have now been adjourned, we are looking at these Aam Aadmi Party leaders staging a protest. They've been raising slogans against BJP, and we understand that all this is happening inside the Parliament premises. So it looks like that opposition this time again has chosen the strategy of a disruption, as you mentioned, Rakshita, and we're looking for a very, very stormy session. It's only 19 sittings. One day has already been lost, and we're just hoping that, this becomes more productive and some discussion and debate debate takes place. Thanks, Rakshita, for joining us and getting us all the latest on what is unfolding right now inside Indian Parliament. In fact, viewers, we also have a statement coming in from what Prime Minister Modi said to NDA leaders at Mangal Milan. Now, Prime Minister Modi took up the issue of NEET leak, saying that strict action has been taken for securing the future of students. In fact, Kiran Rijiju also mentioned that about 13 accused involved in the NEET paper leak have now been arrested. And not just that, the action has been taken, but even to prevent further future leaks, the system at large has now been strengthened to ensure that students' futures is in fact secure and they are not harmed in any way. So a very strong message coming in from the Indian Prime Minister to Indian youth, to Indian students, that their future will not be played with, and action has been taken to ensure that their future is secure. Now, viewers, this also comes in at a time when we are looking at student protests unfolding, and some political forces are trying to use the grievance of the students for their own benefit. Take a listen to what the Parliamentary Affairs Minister Kiran Rijiju said.
नीट के एग्जाम के बारे में आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा है कि जब पेपर लीक का खबर आए तुरंत सरकार ने कार्रवाई किया और 13 लोगों को अरेस्ट करके जेल में डाल दिया गया है, और साथ साथ जो छात्र हैं, स्टूडेंट्स हैं, उनका भविष्य को नुकसान ना हो इसलिए री एग्जामिनेशन नीट का प्राथमिकता दिया गया और री एग्जामिनेशन को सक्सेसफुली, सफलतापूर्वक कंडक्ट किया गया और उसका रिजल्ट निकालने में कोई विलंब नहीं किया। तो दोबारा इस तरह का पेपर लीक ना हो इसके लिए सख्ती से कदम जो उठाया गया है। जिन्होंने पेपर लीक धंधे में जो लिप्त है, जो लोग दोषी पाए गए हैं, जिसको अरेस्ट किया गया है, उसको जेल में डाल करके प्रधानमंत्री जी ने ये अपील भी किया है कि उनका जो सजा है उसको सख्ती से सख्ती सजा कैसे दिया जाए, उसमें सारा टॉप क्लास के वकील लोग भी साथ दें, ताकि जो पेपर लीक जैसे पाप काम किया है उन लोगों को घोर सख्त सजा मिले और आगे पेपर लीक नहीं होने के लिए सख्ती से जो कदम उठाया गया है उसके बारे में भी प्रधानमंत्री जी ने जानकारी दिया। और प्रधानमंत्री जी ने ये भी कहा कि पेपर लीक सिर्फ एक राज्य का मामला नहीं है, सिर्फ केंद्र सरकार का मामला नहीं, पूरा देश का हर एक राज्य में जहां जहां पेपर लीक करने में जो लोग लिप्त है, जो लोग इस धंधे में इन्वॉल्व है, जिन्होंने काम इस तरह का घिनौना किया है, पाप काम किया है, उनको सजा देने के सब एकजुट होना चाहिए। ये कोई दलगत राजनीति का विषय नहीं है, ये देश का विषय है और युवाओं का भविष्य के साथ कोई खिलवाड़ नहीं होने के लिए और खिलवाड़ नहीं करने देने के लिए सख्ती से कदम भी उठाए, सजा भी दे दोषियों को और फिर फुल प्रूफ सिस्टम काम जो अभी कर रहे हैं उसमें भी सब मिल करके करें, इसको प्रधानमंत्री जी ने बल दिया है।
All right, viewers, so that is a strong message coming in from Indian Prime Minister Modi to the Indian youth, to the students of India, saying that there's a bright future for them out there and their interests will not be harmed. But it is important to ask why such a message is coming in, because what was unfolding right yesterday, in fact, at the protest site was something very concerning. Now, we have accessed some fresh visuals showing that one of the protesters in this video is clearly seen threatening a police official. In fact, he goes on to mention that he has mobilized people at the site, and if provoked, he will be using violence, he will be using force against Delhi police. So we have the video, we'll show you the video as well. But it is important to note that why Prime Minister has now been forced to deliver such a message to Indian students, because there are political forces at play which are using students as their tools. Take a listen.
कोई भी अगर रोकने लिए दोस्तों, हम आ चुके हैं जंतर मंतर पर और मैंने ईंट उठा ली, जिसने भी मुझे रोकने की कोशिश करी, ये नोक वाली साइड से कसम से कर रहा हूँ भाई, सिर दिख नहीं रही है, अब दिख रही है। हाँ मेरा भाई, ईंट ही लगेगी, सच बता रहा हूँ मैं। और बाकी बंदे मैंने अपने उधर से बुला लिए हैं। भाई हमें रोकने की कोशिश मत करना, क्योंकि मौली जागरे से हूँ, हाँ, चंडीगढ़ मौली जागरे से पहले बता रहा हूँ, कोई भी अगर रोकेगा, अगर किसी ने भी रोकने की कोशिश करी, फाइनली दोस्तों हम आ चुके हैं जंतर मंतर पर और मैंने ईंट उठा ली। जिसने भी मुझे रोकने की कोशिश करी, ये नोक वाली साइड से कसम से कर रहा हूँ भाई, सिर दिख नहीं रही है, अब दिख रही है। हाँ मेरा भाई, ईंट ही लगेगी, सच बता रहा हूँ मैं। और बाकी बंदे मैंने अपने उधर से बुला लिए हैं। भाई हमें रोकने की कोशिश मत करना, क्योंकि मौली जागरे से हूँ। हाँ, चंडीगढ़ मौली जागरे से पहले बता रहा हूँ, कोई भी अगर रोकेगा, अगर किसी ने भी रोकने की कोशिश करी। फाइनली दोस्तों हम आ चुके हैं जंतर मंतर पर और मैंने ईंट उठा ली। जिसने भी मुझे रोकने की कोशिश करी, ये नोक वाली साइड से कसम से कर रहा हूँ भाई, सिर दिख नहीं रही है, अब दिख रही है। हाँ मेरा भाई, ईंट ही लगेगी, सच बता रहा हूँ मैं। और बाकी बंदे मैंने अपने उधर से बुला लिए हैं। भाई हमें रोकने की कोशिश मत करना, क्योंकि मौली जागरे से हूँ। हाँ, चंडीगढ़ मौली जागरे से पहले बता रहा हूँ, कोई भी अगर रोकेगा, अगर किसी ने भी रोकने की कोशिश करी। फाइनली दोस्तों हम आ चुके हैं जंतर मंतर पर और मैंने ईंट उठा ली। जिसने भी मुझे रोकने की कोशिश करी, ये नोक वाली साइड से कसम से कर रहा हूँ भाई, सिर दिख नहीं रही है, अब दिख रही है। हाँ मेरा भाई।
All right, in fact, my colleague Rakshita is back with us. Rakshita, this video that we're playing for our viewers, which shows a protester threatening a police official, clearly shows that why there was a need by Prime Minister to send a very reassuring message to the Indian youth, because these students are clearly being used as political tools to incite violence on the streets of New Delhi, which is what we witnessed yesterday as well.
First of all, they need to ascertain who are these people. Are they even NEET aspirants? Are they even students? Who are these people? What is the intention and why are they coming in? Who's calling them? Why are they mobilizing people? What is their intention? And nobody in the name of protest can threaten to hit stones at anybody. That is not a provision in the constitution. That is a criminal offense, and that has been ascertained. There is such videos, around 250 of such videos are being, that's why, examined by the Delhi police, and even more of the electronic evidence is being examined for the same reason, because this cannot happen. The NEET paper leak happened long ago, and now the re-NEET has also happened just few days back. We got the results also, and there were so many students who came out with flying colors. Lakhs and lakhs of students had cleared the examination, including the women, the women candidates also, the women aspirants also. So are they saying that are they discrediting that? Have they not worked hard for it? And who are these people is the moot question, is the main point over here. These identities are being now examined. All of them will be tracked by the Delhi police, and there are multiple FIRs now that are being filed by the Delhi police in this regard.
All right. Thanks, Rakshita, for joining us and getting us all the latest from on ground. We'll keep tracking and we'll keep coming back to you for all the latest that we're getting on day 2 of the monsoon session. Viewers, with that, we're slipping into a very short break. Coming up on the other side, getting you all the updates on the investigation. Delhi police now say about 118 police personnel were injured at the protest site yesterday, and now investigation continues. A combing of videos underway right now to identify the rioters involved in the violence.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरीडे।
AU सेविंग्स अकाउंट में मिलते हैं अमेजिंग बेनिफिट्स, पेपरलेस बैंकिंग एंड हायर इंटरेस्ट, वो भी हर महीने।
मनी 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 एवरी मंथ।
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट,
स्वाद बढ़ाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और परेशान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
में भेजा था रेस्क्यू करने के लिए, एक डिप्लो हो गया, 2 हो गया मोरियानी में, हम लोग का बाकी।
All right, so welcome back, viewers. Now, NDRF teams have launched a rescue operation, we understand, at the site. This is where a landslide had triggered a gas leak, in fact, and at the moment, we understand rescue operations are still underway as the death toll continues to rise in this incident. Take a look at this report. Site where a gas leak was triggered by multiple landslides. At the moment, rescue operation still underway. Multiple agencies are involved in this operation at the moment. Heavy rainfall in Uttarakhand's Kumaon region has now triggered a sharp rise in Sharda River's water level, prompting a red alert at Banbasa. Sharda Barrage authorities have now restricted movement and placed downstream areas on high alert. Recovery operations underway in Jammu and Kashmir's Rajouri district after flash floods swept away several vehicles. Cranes are now being used to retrieve damaged vehicles from affected areas, including New Bella bus stand, as officials continue cleanup efforts. All right, viewers, that's a wrap on this edition of Live and Breaking with me, Shita Mitra. Thanks so much for watching. And coming up on the other side, Delhi police now registered 4 FIRs in the violence by CJP protesters as sections of BNS invoked for rioting, assault and vandalism.
हर पल मनाओ केसरी त्योहार। विमल, बोलो जुबान केसरी।
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है? आलू चाट या फ्रूट चाट, स्वाद बनाए चमकी चाट।
क्या बात है? स्वादिष्ट पकोड़े और फरसान, अरे चमकी चाट है इसकी जान।
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
AU करंट अकाउंट के साथ मिलता है फ्री UPI QR ओवरड्राफ्ट फैसिलिटी और एक ही ऐप से बैंक के सारे काम। AU
सोच बदलो और बैंक भी।
आर प्योर सूजी पास्ता उबालो मिलाओ और खाओ
8 मिनट में तैयार।
क्या टेस्ट है सबका राजा आर प्योर मसाला।
We cannot say that we will see relief for sure, but yes, definitely messages are being exchanged between Iran and the United States, and both of them have confirmed. Messages are being exchanged and both sides are looking or examining the messages which they are receiving. Marco Rubio has also indicated that, and similarly the Iranian Foreign Ministry has indicated that. As of now, America is definitely hammering Iran, especially the coastal areas and south of Iran, right? The ports, the civil infrastructure also, the bridges, the roads, the towers, the radar system towers and all, so that it can degrade the capabilities of the Iranian forces to impact and
Delhi police registers 3 FIRs in violence by the CJP protesters. Sections of BNS invoked for rioting, vandalism and obstructing government officials from discharging their duties. Delhi police says 118 police personnel sustained injuries, including several women police officers. 15 to 20 government vehicles were vandalized during the violence. Delhi police files third FIR in connection with the CJP violence. CCTV footage, drone visuals being examined by the police. Republic accesses fresh visuals that show one of the rioters openly threatening the police officers deployed to maintain law and order.
पर चर्चा करने का अवसर दिया जाएगा। सदन की कार्रवाई आज 12 बजे तक के लिए स्थगित की जाती है।
Day 2 of the monsoon session gets off to a stormy start. Both houses adjourned till noon after opposition continues to create ruckus. Massive landslides in Sikkim. At least 8 people have been killed. 20 workers also continue to remain trapped in under construction tunnel. Rescue operations remain on. And now, viewers, starting first. Republic has exclusively spoken to an RAF commandant, Sonia Sehrawat, who was leading the RAF team at Jantar Mantar during the CJP protest. Now, she lays out the realities behind the violence, how women protesters were treated in this exclusive conversation with Republic. Listen in.
क्या उनकी तरफ से पथराव भी किया गया कुछ आपको?
बिल्कुल 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 सर, अच्छे से वो वेल प्रिपेयर्ड थे सर। हम उस चीज से हम तो ये सोच के गए थे कि स्टूडेंट प्रोटेस्ट, लेकिन ऐसा कुछ नहीं था। उसमें हर तरह के जो है तत्व मौजूद थे। आप उसे कुछ भी समझ लीजिए किस तरह के तत्व थे, परजीवी थे, कहाँ से वहाँ पर जुड़े थे। या तो मुझे नहीं पता कि जो उनके आका थे, ऑर्गेनाइजर्स थे, उनको इस चीज की जानकारी थी या नहीं थी, लेकिन उसको पीसफुल ना हो वो या फिर पीसफुल के नाम पे उन्होंने हर तरह की वहाँ पर भीड़ जुटा रखी थी, तो पुलिस से भिड़ने के लिए अच्छे से तैयार थी।
स्टूडेंट्स नहीं थे, लेकिन
मेंटली, फिजिकली, साइकोलॉजी अच्छे से तैयार थे सर। वो
स्टूडेंट्स नहीं थे,
पैच भी थे। मुझे स्टूडेंट हर एज का था, पता नहीं, मैंने एक अच्छे खासा अधेड़ उम्र, कोई अपने आप को जर्नलिस्ट बता रहा था, कोई अपने आप को यूट्यूबर बता रहा था, कोई अपने आप को जो है किसी एनजीओ का मेंबर बता रहा था, कोई कुछ कोई कह रहा हम पार्टी के समर्थक हैं, कोई कह रहा था हम फलानी जो है संगठन से आए हैं जी। बहुत सारे अलग अलग लोग थे।
मैम, वहाँ से क्या जूते वगैरह भी फेंके गए? कुछ बॉटल्स भी आप लोगों के ऊपर फेंकी गई
टारगेट करके? बियर की बोतल्स, वो मेरे जवानों ने मुझे शाम को डीब्रीफिंग में बताया कि बोतल्स भी थी उसमें, कांच के टुकड़े भी थे। हमने बचाया भी है लोगों को, ऐसा नहीं है। कांच के टुकड़े पब्लिक को ना लग जाए उसके लिए हमने इकट्ठे भी किए। कुछ लोग वहाँ पे सफोकेट हो गए थे, डिहाइड्रेट हो गए थे, पानी भी पिलाया जितना हमसे हुआ। और वो मतलब जितना बोल सकते थे, तुम गुंडे हो, तुम दल्ले हो, तुम बिक गए हो, तुम देशद्रोही हो, तुम्हारे घर में रोटी नहीं है, लो पैसे ले लो हमसे, इतनी भी क्या गद्दारी है देश से, हम लोगों को मारोगे, मारो गोली, हम आतंकवादी है। मैंने कहा हमने तो आपको गोली नहीं मारा ना, हम आप पे कोई एक्शन लेंगे, लेकिन अगर आप अनियंत्रित और मौत का रूप लेंगे, अगर आप मजमा बन जाएंगे और दिशाहीन होकर आप दिल्ली की सड़कों पे नाचेंगे और पूरे पब्लिक को जो है लैंड ऑर्डर को जो आप ब्रीच कर देंगे, तो हमें एक्शन लेना पड़ेगा। ये बार बार उनको वार्निंग दी जा रही थी पुलिस की तरफ से भी। एसीपी भी सर थे वहाँ पे, डीसीपी भी थे और बाकी पुलिस फोर्स तैनात थी, आरएफ फोर्स तैनात थी। ये लेकिन वो लोग मानने को तैयार नहीं थे।
अब्यूजिव लैंग्वेज का इस्तेमाल कर रहे थे मैम वो लोग,
वो अब्यूसिव लैंग्वेज नेताओं के लिए यूज कर रहे थे, पर्टिकुलर पार्टीज को लेकर यूज कर रहे थे, और हम लोगों को वो अच्छे तरीके से गलत शब्दों का इस्तेमाल करके हमें प्रोवोक कर रहे थे। तुम दल्ले हो, तुम गुंडे हो जी, तुम बदमाश हो, तुम वर्दी के फेस में नकली लोग हो, तुम फेक लोग हो, तुम बिक गए हो। तुम्हें अपनी ड्यूटी नहीं पता, तुम रेपिस्ट को प्रोटेक्ट करते हो, इतना ही दम है तो वो।
Getting in a breaking development that's coming in. Protesters at the CJP protest site attempted to lynch a rapid action force officer. Take a look at those visuals on your screens. A huge swarm of protesters gathered around an RAF officer. In fact, they take off his helmet and they're consistently heckling him. They're trying to beat him until his team intervenes and the protesters are then shooed away. In fact, these videos show how the protesters made an attempt to in fact lynch a rapid action force officer yesterday during the protest by the CJP. In fact, this was also an attempt that was instigated. You see the person holding a mic speaking to the violent mob as the mob continues to heckle an RAF officer. A huge swarm of protesters, violent rioters who in fact gathered around the RAF officer and took off his helmet and also bet him until his team intervened.
नहीं 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 नहीं, ये गोली है, इनको बाहर करिए, नहीं नहीं, ये सब लगे, इन्हें बाहर करिए, इन्हें बाहर करिए, इन्हें बाहर करिए। गुंडागर्दी नहीं करेंगे, नहीं 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 नहीं, ये गोली है, इनको बाहर करिए, नहीं नहीं, ये सब लगे, इन्हें बाहर करिए, इन्हें बाहर करिए, इन्हें बाहर करिए। गुंडागर्दी नहीं करेंगे, नहीं 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 नहीं, ये गोली है, इनको बाहर करिए, नहीं नहीं, ये सब लगे, इन्हें बाहर करिए, इन्हें बाहर करिए, इन्हें बाहर करिए। गुंडागर्दी नहीं करेंगे, नहीं 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 नहीं, ये गोली है, इनको बाहर करिए, नहीं नहीं, ये सब लगे, इन्हें बाहर करिए, इन्हें बाहर करिए, इन्हें बाहर करिए। गुंडागर्दी नहीं करेंगे, नहीं 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 नहीं, ये गोली है, इनको बाहर करिए, नहीं नहीं, ये सब लगे, इन्हें बाहर करिए, इन्हें बाहर करिए, इन्हें बाहर करिए। गुंडागर्दी नहीं करेंगे, नहीं 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 नहीं, ये गोली है, इनको बाहर करिए, नहीं नहीं, ये सब लगे, इन्हें बाहर करिए, इन्हें बाहर करिए। गुंडागर्दी नहीं करेंगे, नहीं 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 नहीं।
In fact, my colleague Rakshita joins us from outside the parliament. Rakshita, we saw the visuals, the angry mob, the violent rioters. In fact, they completely, surrounded one RAF officer and they also attempted to lynch him. They threw his helmet off and they were constantly trying to heckle him. They were trying to beat him. There was a sea of protesters, rioters who were around that officer. And this has laid open the reality of, what was going behind the CJP protest. It was far from peaceful, like the opposition tries to claim. Rakshita.
This was not even a protest. This was not a protest. This cannot be called a protest. This was ring fencing by the goons. This was an anarchy on the streets. This was an attempt to create Nepal-like situation, a Bangladesh-like situation, a Sri Lanka-like situation that has been witnessed in the neighborhood in the past. And that is the playbook which they are now going by as we speak. These are the visuals, unfortunate scenes where when many of the police officers and the police personnel and RAF personals are being attacked, we see how they are chased away and they are making a spectacle out of it. When the cameras go up and there are many people also raising their fists, they are cheering for what is happening. This is what they are trying to make a spectacle of. Is this anger over need? We ask, is this justified? Are these students? Who are these people? We all know who was the individual who was holding the mic. And why we are calling them CJP workers. They are the CJP workers. These are not students. And henceforth, it of course begets the question as to what was the intention and how has this entire mob mobilized and who has been orchestrating it. This is a complete orchestrated attack on the police administration, which we refuse to call a protest. This cannot be a protest. This cannot be students. These cannot be the NEET aspirants. And that is why it is being investigated. There are more and more videographic evidences that are now emerging, and Republic TV is showing them on Republic TV to the viewers to show them the truth. We are showing the truth that is caught on camera. More such videos are being examined by the Delhi police. More and more FIRs now being registered. This was not limited to the street that leads that is around the parliament, but also in Connaught Place, in other areas of central Delhi. How more than 15 to 20 government vehicles and government property have been targeted. And this visual that we are playing right now can anybody justify? Can Renuka Chaudhary justify? Can the Congress party justify? Congress party that is holding a meeting with Om Birla over what happened yesterday. Can they justify? Do they justify? Do they back this? Will they cheer these people who have attacked the personnel who were only carrying out their duty to maintain law and order? Is this democratic? Is this the constitution, the copy of which Rahul Gandhi keeps waving during many of the sessions in the past in the parliament? These are the questions that need to be asked to those who are backing them openly.
Right, Rakshita. In fact, we've also seen multiple videos that have come forward that show these rioters, in fact, going after the police personnel, the RAF personnel, chasing them and even attacking them. Take a look at these visuals, two of them that have come out from the CJP protest that happened yesterday on the streets of the national capital, where protesters were seen running behind, chasing and attacking security personnel. In fact, in the first one, you see a huge swarm of rioters completely gathered around one RAF officer. They take off his helmet and they start beating him. In fact, there was another video that you see where hundreds of protesters are running behind security forces who are only standing their ground to maintain law and order. 118 police personnel, security personnel have been injured over protests that erupted yesterday outside the parliament at Jantar Mantar. Also, in fact, by the protesters, by the rioters who were instigated by the CJP. In fact, there were attempts made to lynch RAF personnel. There were attempts made to harm public property. Multiple vehicles have been vandalized. Multiple buildings have been vandalized. In fact, police barricades were broken. Law and order was taken into the hands of the angry, the reckless mob of the CJP rioters. In fact, the streets of the national capital witnessed something that they've never seen before. An attempt to lynch an RAF personnel was out in the open. It was happening on the streets of the national capital, and this was going on as the CJP, the Congress party, contested that these are innocent students who are only backing their demand over NEET examination failures. Now, Rakshita continues being with us on the broadcast. Rakshita, also speak to us about the conspiracy that is leading up to this violence. One after the other, we're seeing pages turn. We're seeing that what was being, peddled as a peaceful protest was anything but that. It's in fact far from that. This is like an arson. This is completely like tyranny. This is not just against the state, it's against the security forces of the country as well.
Absolutely, and we've seen that how the opposition is trying to make it a case of police brutality and completely turning a blind eye towards what is happening. This is on camera, what is happening. And so many people, when they get out one police officer or a police personnel or a jawan, it clearly shows that it was all coordinated. This has to be coordinated. This is not something that happens in the spur of the moment. And this cannot happen across the length and breadth of the of central Delhi. This is a planned and coordinated effort, and henceforth there is videographic and also electronic evidence. That means the text messages, there are messages on different platforms messaging platforms that are under scrutiny, that are under the lens of the agencies that are to be investigated as to who has mobilized and who has coordinated and what was the intention. The intent, in fact, is quite clear. What we can see happening on the roads of the national capital just yesterday in the name of NEET, while the opposition continues to give it, and many of those on ground continue, the so-called CJP continues to give it a name of justice for the NEET students. This is an injustice. This is criminal offense that is taking place in the garb of protest. Their mask is off, and questions are to be raised as to who is backing them, who is letting this happen, and the blood of the innocent is being shed. These protesters are not protesters. They are in fact miscreants, anti-social elements. They are rioters, and that's why there are cases that are being booked, and more such will be coming under scanner. There is a proof of there are what sources suggest to us is that there are many of the chats that are doing that are being investigated. There are of course many groups that are being investigated who could have mobilized this orchestration of violence in the national capital right on day one of the monsoon session to disrupt what has been happening, and of course to spread anarchy. And this is completely we've seen that the Prime Minister today has also made a statement regarding the future of youth, the future of students, and how there should be a national effort. It is a collective effort. We have to remember that in the Ashok Gehlot government, when he was the Chief Minister in Rajasthan, there were at least 20 paper leaks that were recorded, but there was no dharna by Arvind Kejriwal's party. There was no Rahul Gandhi protesting or questioning what is happening with the future of the youth. So yes, that's why we see today Kiran Rijiju citing the Prime Minister, quoting the Prime Minister, says that it is a collective responsibility. It is national responsibility to ensure that there are no paper leaks, and he has assured that there are stricter actions that will be taken. He of course he did count on to what has happened, from the arrests to the CBI investigation that has been carried out to the leak-proof re-need that has taken place. And the Prime Minister has once again assured that the future of the youth of the country remains a priority.
Yeah, Rakshita, in fact, continue being with us. We're just slipping into a short commercial break, but don't go anywhere, viewers. We're going to come back to these horrific visuals that overturn the entire agenda that's been propagated by the CJP, by the Congress party, by the opposition over these protests. These are riots unfolding in real time on the streets of the national capital, and we'll get you all the details, and we will keep reporting until we get you the tea of the truth of this matter.
I wake up wearing someone else again, skin tight like porcelain. I don't recognize these eyes, something scratching from inside. Don't let it slip, I'm losing control. I don't wanna be safe anymore. Underneath there's a fire they can't keep. No more faces.
Finding myself. That's my moment of Sarah.
चमकी चाट से क्या बना है?
सैंडविच लस्सी और छाछ
हर घूंट में चमकी चाट। अब बताओ स्वाद आया?
असली स्वाद सिर्फ चमकी चाट।
रानी, इस घर में कुछ है जो टूटता नहीं।
ये पिलर कभी नहीं टूटेगा। रुंगटा स्टील TMT से बना।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
आर प्योर शाही पनीर मसाला, डिलीशियस, हेल्दी एवरी डे।
We cannot